So hello gamers and welcome to ranking every single gun in Phantom Forces. A lot of people wanted basically a podcast, and this is basically a 3-hour podcast. However, it is actually fully edited videos. I will have timestamps for every single weapon category. Make sure to like the video, and if you put this on in the background while you play, you will probably understand how every single gun in the entire game works, which is pretty cool. Let's start it off with the AK-12. The AK-12 actually got its hyperburst back, so it's very, very good. It has a fast reload time, 1000 RPM, and actually does have pretty good recoil overall. It has a few conversions, a bars barrel, and overall it's a very solid starter gun. It almost makes me want to give it a 5 out of 5, but I don't know if I should, because it does have some downsides. It does do 99 assist counts, which is kind of annoying, but it does have pretty good overall damage and stuff. I just don't think, because of the hyperburst nerf, that this is a 5 out of 5 anymore, because yeah, you can do this with it, but I feel like of the hyperburst guns, this is probably one of the lesser ones. I'd say AK-12 battle rifle and stuff is better for that, and it does have quite a bit of recoil with the hyperburst. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5, but a very solid 4 out of 5. For a starter gun, this is like one of the best ones in the game, especially with a full setup. Not great without attachments, but there's no reason this gun shouldn't get at least a 4 out of 5. I'm really glad the hyperburst is back, and now that it has recoil, it actually feels pretty balanced and feels a little bit more powerful. Before, it was just laser beam that was super broken, and now it's like got recoil. Our second assault rifle is the AN-94. The AN-94 has a 1800 RPM burst at the beginning. It has a 7.62 conversion, and the damage is pretty good, but the RPM is kind of on the slower side, and without the conversion, the damage isn't that great. One of the main upsides of the gun was the fact that it had super armor piercing with not a lot of downsides. The problem is super armor piercing isn't really that great anymore, so that upside is kind of gone. It still has super armor piercing, and it's still really, really good. 7.62 is still great, and the default gun has no recoil, but 600 RPM, 32 to 24. The Scar L is just a better option for this, so I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5 as well. But next up, we have the AS Val. The AS Val used to definitely be maybe a 5 out of 5 gun, to be honest, and I still feel like it's really great, but with the RPM nerf and the recoil nerf, it's not as great. I really like it without the extended mag or full stock, because it actually has a pretty fast reload time and fast handling, and although those attachments are objectively kind of better because bigger magazine, lower recoil, the handling and the reload speed is not great. I'm not gonna lie. 90 reserve ammo is not fun at all either. That makes this gun kind of annoying. Like, you either have 20 bullets, which is kind of a downside, or pretty trash handling and reload speed, and only 90 reserves, so 3 mags of reserve. Makes this gun kind of annoying. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I don't think I could give this less than a 4 out of 5. It probably used to be a 5 out of 5 gun, and it's still very good, especially for a low rank gun. This is just kind of a beam. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for this one. Moving on, we have the Scar L. Now, the Scar L is just so good at everything. Low recoil, 4-hit kill all ranges, pretty good damage, and RPM, actually a little bit more RPM than the AN-94 while doing more damage. Has a little bit more recoil, but let's be real, this gun is a laser beam, and it has 9mm, which is arguably one of the best, because I'm using it right now. Close range and long range weapons even in the entire game, and like, it is so accurate. It has a 33 round magazine, and this conversion just works so well. It beams, it does good damage. The default gun, yeah, it's a 3-hit, well, 4-hit, which is kind of a downside, but not a very huge downside in my opinion. This gun is just great. I 100% would recommend buying 9mm, and if not, just use it as a low rank. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5, which is kind of crazy. Like, before I didn't think it was a 5 out of 5, but like, my opinions have changed. 9mm is like objectively better than AUG A1 Para in every single way, and people are like, that's good. Well, this is just better. Now, moving on to the AUG A1. The AUG A1 does fire a little bit faster than the Scar L. However, the upsides kind of end there. It does less damage, can't 4-hit kill all ranges. It does have a 9mm conversion as well, funnily enough, even though it's the next assault rifle on the list, and the next one you unlock, it also has about the same conversion. However, its conversion is just worse. I'm not gonna lie. It has a smaller magazine, worse recoil, worse 3-hit kill range. It doesn't 5-hit kill all ranges. This gun is really good, but I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5 because the Scar L is a lower rank and just does it better. Like, it doesn't do it a ton better. Like, this has some upsides over it, but I'm not gonna lie, like, it's not bad. Whoa, that was... So yeah, I'm not gonna give it like a 2. I'm gonna give it a 3, which is a solid. For me, 1 out of 5 means really bad, 2 out of 5 means pretty much nothing redeemable, 3 out of 5 means decent, 4 out of 5 means very good, and 5 out of 5 means amazing top tier. And this is definitely a 3 because, yeah, I could give it a 4, but because of the Scar L being a lower rank, I'm gonna give it a 3. Next up is the M16A4. Before this current update, when they actually buffed the recoil by quite a bit and made it kind of kick quite a bit, and the front post, I do not like the front post. post. For those couple of updates, this was definitely a 5 out of 5. Like, this gun was great. Now it's a 4 out of 5. It's still really, really good. That was not a good representation of that at all. It's a 2-hit kill head, 3-hit kill body, but it actually has pretty low recoil, 3-shot burst at very high 850 RPM. It's actually the highest RPM, except for, I guess, hyperburst guns so far on this list. It's just really, really great. It's not quite as much of a beam anymore, though. It's still really accurate. I still do recommend it for low ranks and high ranks alike. But yeah, because of all that stuff I just mentioned, it's not going to be a 5 out of 5 anymore, but still really good. Next up, we have the G36, which would have definitely been a 5 out of 5 before, but because it doesn't actually 4-hit kill all ranges, you're probably going to be like, well, this gun sucks now. A lot of people have been saying that, like, it sucks now, because it used to basically be a 4-hit kill anywhere in the body at any range, but actually, I'm still going to give this one a 4 out of 5, because it's still really good. I don't even recommend you use 300 conversion, because yes, you do get a 3-hit kill, but this can actually 4-hit kill to like 175 studs, and has really good velocity anyway, so it's actually still one of the better assault rifle type weapons in the game. Would have been a 5 out of 5 before the update. It is still great, but not the best assault rifle in the game anymore. Arguably before it was. That and the L85 were probably the best and had been the best for a long time. We'll get to the L85 later in the video, but as you can see, this is still really good. Just check it out. Like, it's still really, really nice. Next up is the M16A3. Last update, this was by far a 5 out of 5, but because they changed the recoil again, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I might even give it a 3. No, I'm not gonna give it a 3. It's still really good. Basically, last update, it had no recoil. Basically, they removed the 223 extendamag. They're like, wait a minute, it's gonna suck now or something like that. So they were like, we'll give it no recoil, and then it became super broken. And then they removed the no recoil. It's still really accurate if you're pretty good with it. And with hollow point, it's really great. Last update was a 5 out of 5. Now it's a 4 out of 5. It's still great. Still one of the better assault rifles, I would say, in the game, or just all around use. However, I don't know, man. Scar L and Scar L 9mm is so cracked. Next up, we have the Type 20. I'm gonna give you a controversial I don't know, maybe kind of controversial, depending on who you are, because a lot of people really love this gun. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It is not a 4 out of 5 gun. It is an overall very solid gun, but it's definitely because the overall stats are just kind of Gotta go kind of lower on the list. It has 650 RPM, which is kind of on the slower side. And yeah, it can 3-hit kill and kind of 4-hit kill torso at range. However, that's kind of annoying to hit. Scar L can just do that with exactly the same RPM pretty much without any torso hits, and can pretty easily 3-hit kill as well. This can 2-hit kill head, but actually it's kind of a trick because it's only to 30 studs, which is like nothing. So yeah, overall, it's not a bad gun, but it's just not great. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It is worth trying out, but it's not great. Now, the AUG 2 is really good this update. I'm thinking about giving it a 5 out of 5, not gonna lie. 7.62 is very fun. 2-hit kill head to a really great range. 3-hit kill body to like 80 studs or something. And honestly, for 7.62, it is very accurate. Probably like second most accurate 7.62 in the game, which we will get to the first, because there is one that is a 7.62 and somehow is actually so accurate. But yeah, basically, if you want a 3-hit kill body and a 5-hit kill at range, but like no recoil, check out the AUG 2. And if you want even better damage, then check out AUG 2 7.62. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. Screw it. It's just so nice. I love 7.62. The default gun got a recoil buff and is now very good. Not broken, but just top tier. I'm not gonna lie. And this is an AK bullet gun, but for some reason, even though it has AK-47, 7.62x39, it is absolute laser beam. I don't know how. Next up is the K2, and this one has gotten kind of a big nerf type thing. It's more of a rebalance now, but basically it does way less damage, but it has a torso multiplier and a little bit more RPM. But because of the nerf to it basically in this update, before it would have been like a 4 out of 5. Originally when it came out, it was a 5 out of 5, hands down. It was so busted. But now it's a 3 out of 5 gun. It's not amazing. It's not trash. It's a Type 20 type gun where it's not amazing. It's decent. There's nothing objectively too wrong with it, except I guess that it isn't really a 3-hit kill too often. Well, it is a 3-hit kill pretty often, but it can 4-hit kill the body in close range because it does 33, but it has a torso multi, which is kind of annoying for an assault rifle. And before, it used to be a 3-hit kill. Where is this guy going? Dude, what? I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's not bad. Next up, we have the FAMAS F1. The FAMAS F1 with Romanian grip and G2 became extremely good before. I think you need to use like T-brake on it as well. And this gun basically becomes an 1100 RPM pretty accurate gun, not gonna lie. And also, if you run hollow point, it gets a 3-hit kill up close with 1100 RPM. Yes, this does have some flaring downsides, but I feel like because 1100 RPM 3-shot and this is just such a fun overall gun, and FAMAS F1 is also great. Kind of just a better ace valve. I think I gotta give this one a 5 out of 5. The new attachments are very good to it. 3-hit kill to the body, like 60 studs default. It's 1100 RPM with G2 and a 30-round magazine, and default literally just the old ace valve, but kind of better. So yeah, 5 5 out of 5 to this gun. If you haven't tried this thing out, I recommend just use default. You don't even gotta use G2, but default has 900 RPM. It's a 3 to a 5 shot. With G2, you get 1100 RPM, but it's a 4 to a 5 shot. But there's a trick where you put on hollow point and it becomes a 3 hit kill again, but it does have like really bad like 6 or 7 hit kill at range, but up close it just eviscerates people. Next up is the AK-47. Romanian grip I actually tried on it. It's pretty good. It's a bit of camera kick, not gonna lie, and it's an overall strange assault rifle. You could really go any way with this. You could say it's a 5 out of 5. You could say it's like a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because it's not as good as it used to be. It has less pen, worse headshot damage, no torso multiplier, worse body damage, and worse recoil, but it's still very, very good. Before with hollow point, it was a 5 out of 5, 100%, but I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Next up, we have the AUG A3. When you really think about it, it's kind of just, you like AUG A2762, you want AUG A2762 to have a 30 round magazine and less recoil and more RPM, but a little bit less damage. Basically, that's what this is. And yeah, because of that, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. And because the default gun is such a laser beam and still has great handling and reload speed overall, this is a really great conversion. AUG A3300, as you can see, still has pretty low recoil and actually has a faster reload speed than AUG A2762, even though AUG A2762 has 20 rounds and this has 30, and it's still a 2-hit kill head. That doesn't perform as great damage-wise, but the fact that it just does about the same thing, but with less recoil is pretty nice, and even a little bit of bonus RPM. The default gun beams so hard. I don't know why more people don't use the default gun. Next up, we have the L85. Now, the G36, I gave that one a 4 out of 5, so obviously, since this is basically the same gun, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 too. Well, actually, no, let me not freaking die. Okay. The G36 with T-brake is fine, I guess. However, I tried L85 T-brake. It is really good. This gun is strange because if you use muzzle brake, it has a little bit too much horizontal kick in my opinion, and if you use compensator, it has too much vertical kick. So overall, I just could not find a good barrel. But the T-brake reduces both horizontal and vertical recoil with not a lot of downsides. So basically, yeah, you don't get as great grouping in either direction. However, you just get overall good grouping, and that's why I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 because it actually has a better 4-hit kill range than the G36, and while nobody's letting me even shoot at them, this is super accurate. There we go. 4-hit kill to like 200 studs, which is still really, really far. Yeah, it's not infinite, but I feel like this is because of the T-brake kind of a better option than the G36, although it's still kind of debatable, but I mean, just beams, dude. It's just an AUG A2 RPM gun, and it's also a bullpup, but the thing about it is that 4-hit kill super far and just so little recoil. Next up, we have the HK416, which I am definitely not going to give a 5 out of 5. Yeah, old HK337 and old hollow point HK416 were definitely 5 out of 5, so that was a good flick. But this cannot be, at this point, a 5 out of 5 gun. I just can't give it a 5 out of 5. It's still really, really good, and I mean, pistol grip buff does kind of help it a little bit, but it's just not quite as good. It has worse min damage. 300 conversion is kind of dookie. Hollow point is still really good, but is a 6-hit kill instead of a 5-hit kill range, and isn't a direct upgrade anymore. Default gun is more or less the same, and the default gun is really good, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I could not give it any less than a 4 out of 5, but I can't give it any more. I don't think it's worth a 5 out of 5 on this gun anymore, but still, it is very good. Next up is the AK-74. I don't think I can give it a 5 out of 5 in my right mind. Not because it's trash, although I think it has more recoil now, because I do not remember retracted stock being this much recoil. What if I just use Romanian grip? It's basically a better Type 20. Same RPM, but actually can 3-hit kill pretty far. And yeah, it doesn't do as great damage at range, but it's a beam, dude. The Type 20 isn't like a super bad recoil gun, but it's like an average recoil gun. And with Romanian grip, although the recoil camera-wise feels weird, this gun beams so hard. But the thing about it is that it doesn't do anything too crazy special, but it is very, very good. The RPK-74 is just it, but better. So I will be giving it a 4 out of 5, a very hearty 4 out of 5, a very good 4 out of 5, but it's not going to be getting a 5 out of 5. It doesn't do anything super special enough to be a 5 out of 5, except, you know, be good overall. But let me tell you, it is good overall. I do recommend you check it out, especially with the new Romanian grip, because it's so busted with this. After this point, you actually don't get a new assault rifle for 20 ranks, which is kind of crazy, but then you get the AKM. AKM is a lot better because of Romanian grip as well, but I don't think I can give this one a 5 out of 5 either. I didn't get the AK-47 a 5 out of 5, so I can't give this one a 5 out of 5. AK-47 was always better than the AKM. Not like 100%, but like, let's be real. I should not use Coyote Sight on this gun. What am I doing? The AKM is a AK-47 with slightly better accuracy, but just less damage. It used to be very good, and then it got a nerf, but remaining grip makes the accuracy pretty good, although the AK-47 is still just gonna outperform it. So I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. But you could probably give this one a 5 out of 5, especially before, along with AK-47 hollow point, but because of the nerfs on these guns, I don't think I'm going to be giving this one a 5 out of 5. It's still really, really good. For close range, it's great. It does hold up pretty well at range. I have like 900 kills on it. But yeah, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. After this, you actually get another AK. 3 AKs in a row. Please add a gun between AK-74 and AKM, because that's 20 ranks. Also, these are like 10 ranks off of each other, and they are like the same gun. The AK-103 does have some pretty nice upsides, and because of the nerf to some of those 4-hit kill all ranges guns, I might actually give the AK-109 a 5 out of 5, because 4-hit kill all ranges 850 RPM. Not the best recoil, but this plus the default gun being kind of just an AKM but better with a long barrel, which the long barrel is really cracked now on these kind of AKs that were kind of a problem with long barrel before. I might even give this one a 5 out of 5. I feel like I should. Maybe I shouldn't give it a 5 out of 5 because I didn't give the other AKs a 5 out of 5, but Bar's barrel is so cracked. Yeah, you know what? 5 out of 5. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It has free armor piercing, basically. 850 RPM. The default gun is really nice. Literally drops 33 to 25 or something like that. And yeah, it's really, really good. However, I should not be using this as my secondary. Yeah, I mean, next up we have the TAR-21, which I'm actually thinking about giving a 5 out of 5 as well because of one specific thing, and that is duplex. Because duplex is like a free 2-hit kill head and a 3-hit kill body because it has no spread at all. Like, that's 2 shots that are landing in essentially the same place. And 850 RPM, 20 round mag, but like super fast reload time. I might give this one a 4 out of 5. I don't feel like it has the same effectiveness as the AK-103 and AK-109 and other 5 out of 5s I've given. But I feel like because of uniqueness plus actually being super crazy, I'm gonna have to give this one a 5 out of 5 because it's just great. The default gun is pretty nice, and you can also give it a CTAR barrel, which now gives it a 3-hit kill and a 2-hit kill head, which is a lot better than it was before. It does have weird recoil, and it's not the best for this kind of range because this is a shotgun conversion. However, for a shotgun conversion, this has a better killing range than like every other shotgun conversion in the entire game. That's a little bit different than other shotgun conversions, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. My skin on it is really strange though. I feel like it deserves it because it just does that. Now we're on to the Type 58, and because of remaining grip, and because I called it the Type 58 because nobody cares about the Type 88, I'm sorry, it sucks. But the Type 58 has got to be a 5 out of 5 as well. It is sincerely a top tier gun. The Type 88 by default is probably objectively the worst assault rifle in the game. It does bad damage, it shoots slow, it's bad, it's not good. However, the Type 58 is really crazy. The Type 58 conversion basically just gives you better damage and RPM. The downside is that you have a little bit more recoil, but with remaining grip, the recoil is like pretty much non-existent. It's really, really busted. Keep in mind, this does like AK-47 damage, and it's this accurate. It actually does a little bit more than the AK-47 does now, and shoots faster. I mean, AK-47 old hollow point was just better than this, respectfully, but 41 to 28 is really great. Great ranges. It has a long barrel. Compensator makes the recoil really nice, but I recommend long barrel because better damage ranges equals better hits to kill ranges. Yeah, it's really fair that you can just actually beam people. Next up, we have the M231. Now, the M231 is strange because before it was definitely a 5 out of 5, and it's gotten a lot worse damage, but pretty much no other changes. You would think it would have more recoil or something, like a slower reload time or something, but it just has less damage, and yeah, it's still got like this kind of recoil and everything, but it still has 150 reserve, really nice velocity for a gun of this RPM, very fast reload, one of the fastest in the game, and a fast walk speed and everything like that, and super high RPM. But because it doesn't have a 3-hit kill to 100 studs, which was somehow considered balanced up until this point, yeah, it's still not going to be that great. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because I do sincerely feel like one of the best CQC guns in the game, but it's definitely no longer the best. I'd say personally, I prefer like the Chris Vector over it. And yeah, pretty strange. That's actually like a little bit more balanced. Next up, we have the C7A2. This thing did get a pretty big nerf because it got its long barrel removed. However, this opens up the door for the T-brake, which is very, very good. A compensator is great on it. Muzzle brake is good on it. And also because it has so many conversions, all of which are great. Sincerely, there's not a single conversion that's bad on this list here. 223 has the same hits to kill, although lower velocity but lower recoil if you want that. AP is pretty great overall. 3 extra pen basically. 762, which we will come back to. Hollow point, a 3-hit kill. It's still great ranges and everything. 45, 900 RPM, 3-hit kill. This thing is cracked. And 20 tact, better headshot multi, walk speed, muzzle velocity, 10 suppression, everything like that. Tracerless, it doesn't even matter. Use tracerless, I don't care. All these are great. However, 7.62 is so slept on, especially with long barrel being removed, because 7.62 long barrel used to be busted. It used to have a 334 stud min damage range. The fact that I'm not legally obligated by my own conscience to use long barrel on this gun means that this gun now has a 2-hit kill head. Guess how far that is? To 100 studs. 3-hit kill body to 100 studs. And this is a 7.62, but it has this recoil because of T-brake. Because I don't have to use long barrel, I can use a recoil reducing attachment, and now I can just eviscerate everything in my sight except this rank 3 with the KSG. So I think it goes without saying that this is a 5 out of 5 attachment. I mean, gun attachment and everything. Like, everything about this gun is so cracked. People are like, well, this gun sucks now because no more long barrel. I do not care. I will be using this gun so much still. 20 tact, amazing reload time and recoil with like no downside at all. This, which is still a laser beam. Somebody tell Oscar about this, because this is literally the best assault rifle in the game. Don't even tell me it's the Type 88. It isn't the Type 88. It's this. This is the best assault rifle. This is the best assault rifle in the entire game by a long shot. Please, somebody tell Oscar. Sincerely, no, this is a 6 out of 5 gun. I don't care. I'm breaking my own rule. I'm just kidding. It's a 5 out of 5, but it is the highest of 5 out of 5s I can possibly get. Next up, we have the STG-44. Default, this gun is like a 3 out of 5 now. It used to be pretty good, but 5.56 is definitely going to win this over to a 4 out of 5. As you can see, it beams. It doesn't shoot too fast, and it does pretty good damage, and it has a 60-round mag. And if you like the Colt LMG, but you want less recoil and a 2-shot kill, actually, Colt LMG has 20 tact, but still, you can still get kind of the same type of thing as the Colt LMG. However, no recoil at all, basically. I don't know. It's a really good conversion. I am not going to lie. So for this reason, I will be giving it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's top tier, but it's really up there. It's one of the higher 4 out of 5s I've given. I'll get 2762 and stuff, and I'll get 300 are just this, but a little bit more RPM. Obviously not as good recoil, and no 60-round magazine. However, now we are on to the final assault rifle, the G11K3. Just kidding, it's the K2. This thing not only has a cool reload animation because they finally fixed the okay, that's a spoiler for this gun's rank. Guess the rank of this gun in the comments. Which one do you think it will be? Basically, this got skeleton grip now. Well, I mean, it had skeleton grip before. However, they did something to skeleton grip, which not a lot of people have been mentioning. It now makes your recovery speed 50% faster, which means any slow shooting burst, not the M16A4, but the G11 and other bursts like this and other slow DMRs are basically just better because they just recover faster, because you can just shoot a second time really, really fast. So yeah, the G11 is basically better now because better handling and better recovery speed. Now, what does the G11 do? Well, it shoots 3 shots in exactly the same spot, as you can see. Now, this gun is able to 3-hit kill torso to about 90 studs, so it can 1 burst to 90 studs to the torso, and because of the headshot multiplier, there's a 5-shot to the limbs, a 4-shot to the torso, and a 3-shot to the head at any range. And with 3 shots landing in the same spot, you can either 2-burst somebody or 1-burst them to the head at any range. Think of like a sniper rifle or DMR, but like, you can do this if you want to. And it's like 3 studs of 10 or something stupid. It is so good. If you have the credits, this is probably one of the best pre-buy guns in the game. I really like the gun. I don't use it a ton, but if you get this thing down, it is one of the best assault rifles in the game. In fact, it might be the best. It's kind of weird to be ranking this with other assault rifles in the game, but you know, if you really wanted to, like, for a lot of different stuff, this is the best assault rifle in the game. Our first battle rifle is the M14. Now, a huge thing about this is that now it actually doesn't have the reloading bug anymore. Before, it had this weird bug where if you shot it and then try to reload immediately afterwards, it wouldn't work. But now you can actually do that, which is a huge buff to the gun because it makes me actually able to use it, because I just couldn't use it before. And because of Romanian grip, this gun is a beam. Before, I would have given it like a 4 out of 5, but because of Romanian grip, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5, like especially with the FAL 50 nerf, because FAL 50 would have been a 5 out of 5, maybe the best battle rifle in the game, but M14 with the Romanian grip is so busted. Our second battle rifle is the Beowulf ECR. Now, the ECR is really strange because it could be the best battle rifle or the worst battle rifle depending on how you look at it. It's kind of hard to tell which one it is. It only has 10 rounds and it dumps them very, very fast. However, it can actually 2-hit kill to the limbs to about 85 studs, 2-hit kill torso to about 110 studs, and it has 800 RPM. So think like M3A1, but it shoots like 2 times as fast. Like, yeah, it can eviscerate everybody. 5.56 used to basically be one of the best assault rifle weapons in the entire game. Gave you a 30-round magazine, a 3-hit kill up close. It was really, really busted. However, that is kind of gone. And even though this is my second highest kill battle rifle, I'm going to be giving this one a 4 out of 5. Maybe even a 3, but the upsides are very nice. So I will be giving it a 4 out of 5. However, you could say it's a 2 out of 5. You could say it's a 5 out of 5. It really depends on what you want from your gun. And I really like it, so I'm going to give it a 4. Next up is the Scar H, which used to probably be at least a 4 and maybe even a 5 out of 5. It had crazy ranges with long barrel, extremely powerful recoil, and a fast reload for a battle rifle. All of that is gone. It has fine recoil now. You need a compensator, and yeah, you can use a compensator because the long barrel is gone. It also reloads a little bit slower. Not a huge problem. I can't even tell, to be honest. Overall, this gun is still really, really good. I'm wavering between a 3 and a 4 out of 5, but I feel like overall it's still really accurate and great, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. However, before it was probably a 5 because of long barrel and everything. Now it's closer to a 3. It's definitely a lower 4, but I don't think I would give it a 3 out of 5. It's still really good. 2-hit kill head, 4-hit kill all ranges, great 3-hit kill range. It can actually 2-hit kill with hollow point, but I don't really recommend that because, you know, it has like pretty trash damage range. If you wanted a 2-hit kill with hollow point, you missed the boat with AK-47 hollow point. But next up, we have the battle rifle known as the AK-12 balanced recoil. It doesn't mean battle rifle, but I call it the AK-12 battle rifle, not because it means BR in battle, but you know what? Let me just get into the gun. For some reason, I'm using it with 12.7, which is a weird 50 cal conversion. It's kind of cool. It shoots really, really slow. Basically a full auto DMR. It has low but left leaning recoil, and it can one-shot headshot up close, but yeah, the recoil is strange. The default gun has 700 RPM, which is on the higher side, but pretty low recoil. Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. This is a 2-hit kill to the body, but like, just use the ECR. The ECR is just kind of better than this. I know it can 1-hit kill head, but it does trash damage at range, but I wanted to try something. Does this work? Oh my gosh, wait. Meta discovered, possibly? Okay. It does have a 7.62, which is fine. Kind of weird 50-round gun, but the default gun has 700 RPM, and it actually has a 1000 RPM hyperburst. I'm using sideways grip, that's why the recoil is weird. Slightly lower than average battle rifle damage, but with higher RPM and pretty accurate recoil overall. And if you run this thing on burst, it has 1000 RPM, which actually eviscerates people because they added back the hyperburst. So it is really cracked. At this point, it's got to be a 5 out of 5 because it's got such great compatibility, and the 1000 RPM is not something to be scoffed at. Next up, we have the G3. The G3, I'm going to, as it's my highest skill gun, give a 5 out of 5 because I feel like this is just such a good gun, especially with battle rifle rebalances in the past couple of updates. The AG3 got a huge nerf, Scar H got a nerf, HK417 got like a buff, and AK-12BR kind of got a buff. But I feel like this is really top tier. It's got to go in the higher end of most people's list for battle rifles. Yes, before it used to be basically the worst battle rifle in the game, and even then it was like one of my highest skill guns in the game, and that's my highest skill gun. But let me tell you, this gun is great. Double headshot multiplier, really nice accuracy. I think Hera might make this even better. I remember Hera and T-Break was really busted on this gun. Let me try this. A little bit worse than it was in the test place originally. But basically, this is a 2 times headshot multiplier gun that can 2-hit kill head at any range. No other battle rifle, not even the ECR, can possibly do that. Maybe the 12.7 AK-12 battle rifle, but that's kind of different, you know? 2-hit kill very easily if one of them is a headshot to a very far range. It also has great ranges. The recoil is kind of annoying, but the RPM and reload speeds are pretty nice for the class. And in my opinion, it's a lot more fun than the AG3. Yes, more recoil, but more damage, more RPM, and faster handling, which is the biggest thing. I do not like slow handling guns, let me tell you that right now. If you want a fast handling gun, maybe don't use the battle rifle in general, but definitely do not use the AG3. It has bad handling. So yeah, because of the headshot multiplier being 2 times, which generally a headshot multiplier on most guns is only 1.4, makes this gun very fun, and also you get a lot of points from it, because think about it, if it's doing a lot of headshot damage, you're probably going to end up getting a kill with a headshot, because it's a 3-hit body but a 2-hit kill head, and at range it's a 2-hit kill head, and if you hit 2 bodies and then a headshot, it will kill, and it would otherwise require 2 more body shots, so it goes from a 4-hit kill at range to a 3-hit kill at range. So basically what I'm telling you is that you're going to kill with headshots, which means 25 extra points every single kill. That's 25% more XP. That means every 4 ranks you're going to get a 5th rank, or something like that. I don't know. Regardless, you're going to get more points. You're going to have a lot of fun with this gun. I highly recommend you check this out. Yes, it's kind of an acquired taste, and it is my high skill gun, so maybe I'm biased, but especially with the Hera and T-Break, which is like way more accurate than I've ever used this gun for 6,000 kills. But now we have the AG3. Now the AG3, it has less headshot multiplier, less damage, less RPM, worse handling, worse reload speed. So what's the upside? Basically it has no recoil. This gun used to be a lot better. They nerfed it pretty hard, and they kind of deserved it, not gonna lie. This gun used to be a 3-hit kill anywhere on the body at any range, and has like no recoil. It was just an auto DMR, and it's still really, really good. However, I prefer the G3 because of handling and all the aforementioned stats. It still is a beam, and the min damage range is also better than the G3s, and the damage is really similar anyway, so I do recommend this gun. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. I feel like the G3 just performs slightly better. This is very close to a 5 out of 5. It used to be a 5 out of 5 100%. Actually was until like pretty recently the best DMR, yeah, I mean, it's basically a DMR, but the best battle rifle in the entire game. Let me know if you guys still use this, because it used to be super popular. I remember everybody in my comments was hating on me for liking the G3 over the AG3. Next up, we have the HK417. The HK417 is really nice. It has more RPM than the G3 and AG3, but it can 3-hit kill to the torso at any range, which neither of them can actually do that anymore. Actually, the G3 could never do that, because the G3 used to do 25 damage at range. I had like 2,000 kills on the G3 before the buff. And let me tell you, it was not great before the buff. But yeah, this gun has a full stock, and it has a long barrel now, I think. And it has pretty good recoil now. The recoil is kind of strange, but it's pretty accurate overall if you use it correctly. It's basically just a Scar H, but it does better damage at range and preserves damage better at range, and is a 3-hit kill torso at range. And because of the Scar H nerf, I give this one a 5 out of 5. And the Scar H is still significantly more accurate, but I think that this is balanced, if not better than the Scar H now. Really a top tier battle rifle. I don't use it at all, but you know, it performs great up close, although the reload time is kind of slow compared to the Scar H. But yeah, 4 out of 5, a really great one. There's not really any 3 out of 5 in terms of the battle rifles, unless you count Henry as being compared to the other battle rifles in the game, because then the Henry would be like the worst one by far. But we'll get to the Henry when we get to it. Speaking of getting to the Henry, we just got to it. Basically, the Henry is a very strange battle rifle because it is a lever action 5-shot gun. I'll still talk about it in this video, but basically, if you're looking for a battle rifle, you're probably not looking for the Henry. However, if you're looking for a very fun lever action sniper rifle with a great torso kill range but very high RPM, this is for you. I don't know who looks for exactly that, but this is really fun. It's a very fun cowboy gun. 81 stud torso kill range, which is actually better than a lot of the other sniper rifles, and really fast RPM. Slow reload time, not gonna lie. Like a 7-second reload time on empty because of like the bolting and all that. And you have to single load shells. Not shells, bullets. It does have shells though. It has a lot of conversions as well. This is a very fun CQC sniper rifle. Think of a Mosin with like 30 more RPM and actually can torso kill by default. That's what you get from the Henry. It's very, very fun. I think for sniper rifles, this is a 5 out of 5 one. For close range snipers, this is just objectively so great. It has a lot of conversions, and I guess I'll talk about those a little bit because some of them are pretty interesting. But yeah, it is a headshot kill at any range. It does do kind of bad damage to the body over long range, but the fact that it has a torso kill up close and it's still a 2-hit kill torso at range makes it pretty good overall. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite sniper type guns. I have like 400, 500 kills on it. The ammo types are really strange. 30-30 gives you a pretty trash torso kill range. However, you get more RPM and a bigger magazine, which is pretty cool. If you want to have more of a headshot killing gun, that's pretty good. 3.57 Magnum gives you a pretty trash headshot kill range, but 150 RPM, 10 rounds, and a really fast reload time. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. 410 is a shotgun conversion with 50 damage to 30 studs because it just got a buff, and it's actually pretty good. I'll talk about it in a little bit as well. SP gives you a lot more velocity and more pen and better ranges. However, it does lower your torso multi, so don't use this because it will actually remove your torso kill range. It does give you a lot of velocity, so if you want headshot kills, maybe that's good. But yeah, 3.57 Magnum, aka Henry Big Boy, is very, very fast RPM. Does not headshot kill at all ranges, which is kind of annoying. I feel like it should be able to headshot kill at least a little bit farther. I don't know. It's literally just like a Dragunov SVU. Like, what? Dragunov SVU fires faster, reloads faster for all 10 bullets, higher velocity by quite a bit. Like, what is the upside of this? Henry Big Boy is not that great, but it does have 100 reserves. So if you're really good at hitting headshots, it's actually really good for zombies when I play in my VIP servers and we do zombies. And it's really good for hitting follow-up shots because it has like no recoil, but here's the problem. It just doesn't do very good damage. This is kind of like a meme conversion, but I really wish it was better. I get one single kill. Where's one guy? Overall, I don't really recommend this that much. The other conversion I wanted to talk about is 410 bore, which will slow your RPM and it will slow your reload time. However, you do actually 300 damage per shot, theoretically, and not even to the head. It's like 360 head, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. 2 pellets to kill, which is really good for close range. The only other 2 pellet kill gun is like the Judge. That's it. It's literally the only other one, and Judge is not even that great with like the default ammo. Either way, this is a really fun conversion. Not that great. Henry 410 is one of the more forgotten conversions, I would say, but still, I don't know, I like it. Finally, we have the FAL 50, which got a huge nerf. It used to be able to 3-hit kill torso at old ranges, but have 700 RPM. And even with like any amount of recoil, think about it, that's 100 more RPM than the HK417, and it still had like comparable recoil, but it did the same amount of damage. It was fair and balanced. Now, it is a 4-hit kill at range, which is still pretty decent. 29 damage with the torso multi, and 40 damage up close, but 700 RPM. That is really, really good. I would not say that this is 5 out of 5 anymore, but I think I gotta give it at least a 4. It's got 5.56 still, and 45 is still pretty decent. I think we'll give it a 4 out of 5 because it is just a shell of its former self with way more recoil, even though that's still really accurate recoil, and the fact that it doesn't 3-hit kill torso all ranges. It should have gotten a nerf because like it was busted. Now it's a 4 out of 5. Very, very good. Possibly the best battle rifle even now, but not quite as broken as it used to be. First off, we have the KSG. This thing has the weirdest inspect animation ever. Your arm literally clips into your freaking face. This shotgun actually did get a buff. Pretty big when it has like 40 more RPM and better spread. And now you can actually just use the suppressor with no downside, although it sounds pretty strange. It's kind of crazy that suppressors are good now. The KSG has 14 with a +1, so 15, and has a barrel to have 25 rounds, and it's a very fast pump action shotgun. It doesn't do great damage, and it has okay spread, especially now. It has way better spread than it used to. And it used to be objectively like the worst shotgun in the game. Now it might still be one of the worst, if not the worst shotgun in the game, but I really love this shotgun. It's one of my favorite shotguns in the game because funny pump action with like infinity bullets. You will never run out of bullets. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5, especially with the buff to it. It's just really nice now. It's not the best shotgun in the game by any means because that was great. 84. Second up, we have the Remington 870. The Remington 870 does 34 damage per pellet now, which means it's a 3-pellet kill, and it does have a little bit worse spread than it used to. However, this is one of the best shotguns in the game. I'm not gonna lie. I think KSG, but a little bit less RPM and less bullets. However, it actually does good damage. This gun is so cracked. It has a remove stock. It's rank 11. It's definitely one of the best shotguns in the game. Overall, I'd say it's the best shotgun in the game because there's no downside. It doesn't shoot slow. It doesn't have bad spread of bad damage. It's a low walk speed or anything. It's just everything about it is decent. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 because tell me in the comments, other than the fact that it has spread, what is the downside of the gun? But next up, we have the DBV-12. The DBV-12 did get a slight nerf in this update. If you want to see the nerfs to the shotguns, I have that in my 40-minute video on the update. But basically, because this gun does so much more damage than it used to, Flechette is basically just free. You can just use Flechette for free. It might have a slightly worse like 4-pellet kill range, but it still takes 4 pellets to kill, which is nice because it normally takes 4. And if you want a Flechette shotgun, this is probably one of the best ones in the game. Semi-automatic in 10 rounds, but a very fast reload time for 10 rounds. Really nice RPM as well. Great for hitting follow-up shots, and if you're trash, this is really great because low rank, 10 rounds, fast reload time for 10 rounds, fast RPM. If you're not very good and you can't really hit your shots with a shotgun, this is a really good option. And yeah, I'd say it's an overall really nice shotgun in general. I mean, 410 conversion was really nice. 410 is not that great anymore. I used to basically just use 410 exclusively on this gun, but if you want to shoot through walls, use this shotgun because Flechette is so good on it. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. Definitely not the best shotgun in the game, but definitely not the worst. It might have been like one of the worst before, but because more damage and it's a semi-auto shotgun, really nice. People used to think this is a Saiga 12 downgrade, but honestly, it's kind of better in a lot of ways. But next up, we have the KS23M. I can't tell if I should be using suppressors on these guns now. They sound so strange. I don't know. So the KS23M did get way worse damage range, worse spread, and the biggest thing of all is that they removed birdshot, which is kind of sad because I used birdshot basically only on this gun because it was so busted. It now has a couple of slug attachments and some like garbage. Don't use any of these. Don't. Just don't. But basically, imagine a literal cannon. That's what this gun is. It doesn't have great spread anymore, but it does great damage, so it's really, really good. And the fact that you can basically just single load shells infinitely, so it basically has an infinite size magazine with actually, you know, not the best RPM or anything, but if you want a consistent one-shot in CQC, this is good. It's actually pretty balanced now. It doesn't like one tap to 150 studs. It's more like a 3-shot at that range, which is pretty fair for the RPM. You already know I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. What else would I give this gun? Yes, it doesn't one-shot at any range anymore. It's definitely a lot more balanced, but just because a gun that was over overpowered is more balanced doesn't mean it's not super good. Super problematic gun because you want it to do damage because it's slow, but it doing damage is a problem because it's a shotgun. You don't really gotta aim too much. You don't gotta aim for the torso, you don't gotta aim for the head. Just look at the guy and shoot. So much skill is required in the using of this gun. Overall, I'm really happy with how well this gun is balanced now. Like, yes, you could nerf it a little bit more, but I don't think that's necessary. Even though it is balanced, I'm still gonna give it a 5 out of 5, and it's still the best shotgun in the game. But next up, we have the Saiga 12. Now, the Saiga 12 is a very nice shotgun. It shoots very fast. It has the highest default fire rate in the entire game for shotguns, excluding the E-gun, which we will talk about that when we get to it. People say, yeah, it's a upgrade to the DBV-12, and I don't really think that. It does way less damage, so you can't really run flechette with it, and the recoil is kind of strange, especially with remove stock. However, this is still a very good semi-auto shotgun, possibly the best in the game. Like, you could still say it is better than the DBV-12, especially with the extremely slow reload time being fixed, and it actually reloads pretty fast now. You gotta give this one, like, pretty high up score, but I think I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because it's just really, really good. Very fast rate of fire, not the best damage or anything, but it just shoots fast, and it has a very nice size magazine with a faster reload than before. I can't help but give this thing at least a 4 out of 5, so I'm giving it a 5. Better than the Spaz 12 in my opinion, but you know, that is my opinion. You can disagree with that. Next up, we have the Stevens. That is not my proper setup on it. So since Birdshot got a nerf, this must not be that great. You can use chokes on it, which is pretty nice with the burst, which is pretty cool. However, I'm just going to run this with remove stock and nothing else. This used to be my high skill shotgun until the DT11 came out because I love double barrels, and this was really fun. Birdshot was mega broken. They have rebalanced Birdshot. It's probably not that great anymore for this because before you got 16 pellets, but it still took only 3 of them to kill. So basically 3 out of 32 because you only use this thing on burst, and if you don't, you're crazy. You have to only use remove stock and no other attachments, and also you have to always alt aim it so you can be Doom Guy. Honestly, this one's kind of strange. It has the burst, and I want to give it something because it has the burst, because the burst is a nice feature, but I think I'm going to give this one the lowest rank I have ever given on my series so far. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, and the reason for that, it's not a 1 out of 5, because a 1 out of 5 is literally no redeemable features. It's trash. 2 out of 5 means bad, but it has something that makes it redeemable in some aspect, and that is the burst. However, the DT11 just exists. That's a problem. Like, the DT11 is faster fire rate, better damage, better reload speed, better spread. The only upside of this is that it has the burst, and the reload speed is the biggest thing here. Is like, it only has 1 shot really, and the KS-23M just does it better for 1 shot. And I really like this gun, but I'm going to have to, especially with the Birdshot nerf on this thing, I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5. Not a 1 though. Like, it's still decent. It's just not great. Now we are on to the E-gun. Now the E-gun, I'm going to make second history and give this one a 2 out of 5 as well, because yes, it does have something redeemable. It does have extremely high fire rate, and I guess it does also have a lot of reserve ammo. But here's the problem with this gun. It does like no damage, and I don't even have a problem with that aspect. The thing about it is that it's actually worse than the coil gun in my opinion. The E-gun is worse than its secondary counterpart. With certain attachments, the coil gun can actually 1-burst headshot, actually can shoot through walls, and has a faster reload speed, and this is just bad. This is not a good gun. Like, you use the Stevens before you got the DT11, but you can't use the E-gun before you get to the coil gun because they're the same rank, so you unlock them at the same time, but one of them is a secondary and is also better. So don't use this. This is not good. It does have the cool inspect animation where you flip it, but the coil gun is genuinely not a bad gun. This is bad. This is not good at all. You can use it if you want to, because like meme gun, funny, but it's objectively just not that great. Look at that, 56. The one thing I do really like about it is that Pennies does like 2 damage. However, it has 50 bullets and it has automatic with no recoil at all. So you can use it for like aim training if you want to like practice tracking a guy. But next up we have the AA-12, which I almost want to give this one a 2 out of 5 as well, or even a 1 as a joke, but I don't think I should because it is still an automatic 20-round drum shotgun, regardless of what people say. Wow, okay. I hit markered 1 time. That was, I think, 11 damage there. Yes, it is kind of trash now, not gonna lie, especially for me, because as I've said multiple times during this series, I do not like bad handling guns, and this gun has the worst. Look at this movement speed. You have to M-slide to make it good. If you M-slide, it's not even that bad, though. M-sliding is broken on slow guns, by the way. It's even better than it is normally. But basically, automatic shotgun, so I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. Yes, even the KSG can outperform it, and I feel like the KSG is just better. It can have a bigger capacity than this, but it has good walk speed, isn't cringe, does better damage, and has better spread and everything. This gun is not terrible. I'm not gonna lie, like, it is not the worst gun ever conceived, and for close range, it's not bad, but please just use a different gun. The next gun is, of course, the Spaz 12, which kind of like a Saiga 12, but worse RPM, and also a very cool reload. So this has a very slow reload time because it single loads, which is kind of an upside and a downside in itself, because you can single load a single shell and actually have a faster reload time than a full magazine. However, it has a pretty trash RPM of 200, which is actually slower than both the Saiga and DBV-12. However, you're like, it has pump action, but pump action is kind of just a worse version of the Remington 870 with worse damage, worse RPM, but maybe a little bit better spread. It's either an okay version of the Saiga or an okay version of the Remington. There's no really amazing rule this thing fits. It is not a bad gun by any means, and I will be giving it a 4 out of 5 because I do feel like it is kind of unique in how it combines some of the features of a semi-auto with a pump action in the same gun, and also it is a semi-auto gun that single loads, which is not really that common in this shotgun class because the other semi-auto shotguns are magazine fed, and therefore you can't single load a single shell at a time, which, you know, this is a faster reload time than a full magazine, which is cool. If you want that kind of feature, it's not bad. However, it is a decent shotgun, very fun shotgun, half-life shotgun, very funny. It should get the half-life instant burst. That would be funny. Just make it do like bad damage. I just want a half-life instant burst shotgun. But yeah, overall 4 out of 5. Really nice gun. Not the best, not my favorite. Now we have the DT11, which I have almost 2,000 kills on. It is my highest kill shotgun, and my preferred setup is this: default, full choke, tri-laser, remove stock, and default. The reason I love this shotgun is because it actually shoots really fast. 150 RPM, basically double the speed of the Stevens. However, it also reloads faster, so overall way better fire rate, and also it just looks cooler. Let's be real, over-under shotguns look better than this horizontal barrel shotguns. Don't even lie to me. This guy's gonna come up the staircase and I'm gonna kill him. Since the shotgun nerf, the full choke hasn't been that great on this gun. I might even take it off. I don't really use it too much because I don't really use shotguns too much after the nerf. Not because I only use them when they're broken, but I just haven't been feeling like using shotguns. My main shotguns were the double barrels and the KSG, so don't even tell me I was like a meta slave for shotguns. Yeah, the double barrels have never been that great, except short barrel, which they have nerfed on this gun. So yes, this is a very fast firing double barrel shotgun with a faster reload speed. No instant burst, but like, it has gotta be one of the best shotguns in the game because double barrel, but like do damage, dude. And because of short barrel. Before the short barrel nerf, I would have given this a 5 out of 5. However, because of the short barrel nerf, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5, but a very nice 4 out of 5, like a 4 out of 5 with a cherry on top, okay? Because this is a good shotgun. Is it the best shotgun in the entire game? No, that would go to the KS-23M. However, this can dispense 2 rounds faster than the KS-23M and has a very nice one-hit kill range. I almost want to give it a 5 out of 5 to be nice because I have 2,000 kills on it. But I think a 4 out of 5 is more apt to describe it, especially after the nerf, because short barrel is not that great on it anymore. But let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. But now we're on to the USAS. Now the USAS, I think I'm going to give this one, for what it is, a 2 out of 5. I'm just going to spoil it now. It's not good. It's a bad gun. However, I really like this gun because, like I said before, I don't like slow handling guns. This actually handles very nice for a auto shotgun. KS-23M isn't that slow, but I can handle that. Box speed of the AA-12, I can't handle them. Although this does like no damage, it does shoot pretty fast. It takes 6 out of 8 pellets to kill. And as you can see, it does no damage at range. Like, it probably could have 2 or maybe 3 hit kill if that was the double barrel. As you can see, automatic shotgun. However, 10 bullets and probably about like a net of a 2-shot kill. That's literally just the ECR. Like, just use the ECR. Like, just, I'm sorry, use the ECR. The ECR is just this, but better. However, it is an automatic shotgun, so it takes no skill at all. You don't gotta really aim too much with it. It has some recoil, but this is no attachments. And yeah, overall, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5 because, objectively speaking, it's trash, but it's an auto shotgun, so you can still use it. So I would say that the AA-12 is actually better than this because the AA-12 actually does good damage. Not good damage, but okay damage. This does just trash damage, and there's no reason to objectively use it. And because it's an auto shotgun, it will take no skill, but objectively, I'm just saying, it's not that great. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, though. Like, I don't know. Probably a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. They're like, well, it's auto shotgun. I don't know, man. That's just my opinion. 9 assists, by the way. Let's start it off with the MP5K. Now, the MP5K is a rank 0 starter gun, and also it's probably, for my use, the best starter gun in the entire game. The default gun is okay. It has 900 RPM, it's a 4-hit kill, and it's extremely accurate. However, it has 10 mil, which basically just gives it more damage, a 3-hit kill, and yes, a lot of recoil. But the fact that this has 900 RPM, a 3-hit kill, and extremely fast walk speed makes this a top-tier PDW, even after 10 mil got a nerf, which is pretty sad because they didn't didn't nerf the Colt SMG, which we will get to later in the list. However, this is still one of the best PDWs in the entire game. It goes without saying that this is a 5 out of 5 PDW because it's just great. It doesn't do everything well, but it does CQC so well that it's really, really good. Next up, we have the UMP45. The UMP45 does a lot of damage, especially for PDW. It also has some of the highest in-class penetration at 1.6 studs. It actually beats out 5.56 assault rifles with armor piercing, making this an extremely powerful PDW because it doesn't shoot too fast, but it does great damage. It holds up well at range, and also it has no recoil. And for a rank 5 gun, this is just so great. Originally, you'd think, well, this is not too great, but no, it is really, really good. 2-hit kill head pretty far, 3-hit kill really far, 5-hit kill all ranges. Yeah, the bullet drop is kind of annoying. It doesn't shoot exactly the fastest, like I said, and I do think MP5K 10mm is better, so I will be giving this a 4 out of 5, but I recommend you check this out, especially if you're low rank. I had a low rank friend, and I was like, hey, you should try UMP45, and he had MP5K10. He's actually using the UMP45 better and getting more kills because it's such an easy gun to use, but also if you're high rank, you can actually beam people with this because it's just great. It does great damage, everything that I said, and yeah, look at this thing. It is really, really good. It reloads fast. Yeah, the 25 round mag is kind of annoying, and you can get MP40, which has a 30 and faster RPM. However, I don't recommend that because it is a 4-hit kill to the body, this being a 2-hit kill head and a 3-hit kill body. Super accurate, 4 out of 5 gun. Really up there. It's not top tier, I would say, but the thing is, it combines a lot of really nice PDW stats with really nice assault rifle stats, making it very good overall. But then we have the G36C. Now, the G36C is a weird one because default, I feel like this is probably one of the worst PDWs, but with 300, even after also getting a nerf, this is still extremely good. It has an extremely fast walk speed, and with 300 conversion, it actually does damage. The default gun doesn't do too much damage. It does about 33 to 20, making it more of like a carbine, but only having 750 RPM. So for PW, it just didn't have the time to kill that the other ones did. However, with 300, it can 3-hit kill. It could 2-hit kill head, but that's not gone. The weirdest nice upside about it is that with retracted stock, it has extremely fast walk speed. So if you want a gun that just walks so fast, but actually can 3-hit kill and has pretty controllable recoil, not gonna lie, then this is the gun for you. It has really nice overall like carbine type stats, but the walk speed is just something else, man. It's a 4 out of 5. It maybe would have been a 5 out of 5 before, but because of 300 blackout nerf, I don't think it really deserves a top tier 5 out of 5. However, next up we had the MP7. Now, the MP7 used to be extremely strange. It wasn't necessarily the best gun in the game, and it wasn't necessarily the worst gun in the game. It was simultaneously overhyped and underrated. It was super accurate, and it had good pen and velocity for a PDW while still having almost 1000 RPM. And it ended up getting a nerf, and before I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was like the most overrated gun because everybody at a low rank uses this, and I feel like guns like the MP5K10 and UMP45 are better, especially after the nerf to it. Yes, it does beam and it does shoot very fast, and because of the nerf, I'm thinking about giving it a 3 out of 5, and the reload is just slow and everything. I don't think it's bad. It's definitely not bad. However, next up, we have the MAC-10. Now, the MAC-10 is strange because it has extremely high fire rate. It does do a lot of damage, but it has awful drop, awful recoil, and actually has a worse 3-hit kill range than the Vector, while shooting slower, while having more recoil, and honestly, the Vector just does it better. I think overall, this can be an extremely good gun, but because of the Vector basically just kind of being better, and also the Carbine barrel nerf being super big on this, MAC-10 Carbine is just not that great, and the default MAC-10 is fine. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 because the Vector just kind of exists. I don't think it's a bad gun by any means. It's an extremely good gun for close range. I would give this one a 4 out of 5, but I just don't feel like compared to the Vector, it's just higher recoil, not as good damage ranges, worse range performance, absolutely awful ranges, 20 to 70 studs, worse velocity. This gun was really good before, but because of Carbine nerf, now the Carbine barrel does 32 damage instead of 36. But next up, we have the P90. Now, the P90 is an extremely powerful gun, and I've always said is kind of better than the MP7. The reason for this is that even though it has 50 rounds by default, it actually has exactly the same reload time, but it has 20 more rounds. And with Civimag, it has about like a 0.5 second faster reload time, but has the same capacity and more reserve ammo and better pen. Yes, it does less damage. It has kind of annoying recoil that you can get down pretty easily, and then it becomes pretty good. It has default alt-aim, 150 reserve ammo. Honestly, it's just better than the MP7. I'm gonna be real. This is a 5 out of 5 gun. With armor piercing, it has 3 studs of of penetration, it absolutely beams people in close range, and with Civimag, it walks extremely fast and reloading extremely fast as well. Civimag is like 20 kills as well. You can get Civimag really fast. It might even be default on the gun, but I'm not 100% sure because I have like 1500 kills on it. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. If you want the MP7, use it until you get the P90 because P90 does it better. It's a 5 out of 5. Honestly, because of the Rama buff, the Rama might even be better in some ways. But yeah, this gun just, it's a beam. It has great pen, great velocity. 5.7, dude, the 5.7 round is awesome. I wish it was on more guns or better on some of the guns it's on. Next up though, we have the MP5. Now the MP5 isn't quite as good because of the long barrel nerf, the long barrel rebalance on PDWs, which I recommend you watch my May update video because the PDW long barrel is different. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It lowers damage now. But either way, the MP5 is very strange for PDW. It has a pretty bad 3-hit kill range, I'm not going to lie, and it doesn't shoot super fast. However, it has extremely accurate recoil. That is with plus P, which increases the recoil by a substantial amount. And also, it has insane ranges and insane velocity. It has like 5.56 assault rifle velocity. It has like the same velocity without plus P as like the AUG A3. Either way, really busted gun. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 because I'm gonna be real, it's just so cracked. Insane 4-hit kill range, great recoil control. Everything about this gun is good, except for the fact that the 3-hit kill range is meh, and the fact that it does have a little bit of weird camera recoil that might make people think it has recoil, but it really doesn't. I recommend this gun, definitely. Not the best close range PDW, but like if you really think about it, this versus the G36C, this beats it out in like literally every way, except the fact that the G36C has slightly better in damage, but this has such a good damage range that it actually has a better 4-hit kill range than the G36C while having less recoil, a faster reload time, more RPM, more velocity. Use this gun, dude. It is actually cracked. Next up though, we have the Colt SMG 633. A lot of people might think this is the worst SMG. It has a lot of recoil, but you can actually make it non-existent. This is with vertical. I need to take off vertical. This gun has 1000 RPM, can 3-hit kill to 55 studs for some reason, and has the reload speed of this. That is the reload for 33 rounds. The fact that it can 3-hit kill so far while firing so fast makes this easily the best PDW in the entire game. It is actually so cracked. This gun will eviscerate people in close range, and actually if you pull down, it doesn't even have that bad recoil for medium range, although at long range it will very, very much suffer, especially with how fast it shoots. The min damage isn't great, but PDWs aren't for long range. If you're running this on Bazaar, it does not matter. You will kill everybody. It is so cracked for that range. Like, you can use it at medium range too. You need a bit of recoil control, but it's really just pull down. If you have a compensator on this gun, it will be very, very good. Long barrel nerf kind of hit this one as well, but I was always really using compensator because you can just eviscerate people better with that, to be honest. But yeah, this is definitely the best PDW in the entire game. Highly recommended. Maybe don't pre-buy it. You can use like MP5 K10, that's kind of similar, although at this point it's worse. However, they're both still 5 out of 5s by far because both of them are 5 out of 5s. There are reasons to use the MP5 K10. It has better walk speed overall. Not really much else. I kind of like the recoil on the MP5 K10 more because you don't really got to control it as much. This you actually got to pull down. But yeah, it will kind of eviscerate people. Next up though, we have the L2A3. L2A3 is kind of an underrated gun without 45. It does have 45 to give it a 2-hit kill, but that has been nerfed. And honestly, the M3A1 is kind of better, but the default gun is really nice. If you don't really like the UMP45, this has some nice upsides and downsides over the UMP45. It shoots a tiny bit slower, however, it has better damage preservation over range and better velocity and a bigger magazine while still having a very fast reload time. This is really a good gun. 2-hit kill, not super far, and 3 kill, but not super far. But as you can see, it also has amazing hipfire. The UMP has really good hipfire, but this is like best hipfire in the game. And the fact that it just beams people is also really nice. It's just another one of those UMP type of guns, except for the fact that it has this hipfire, which is just kind of insane, dude. Like, the hipfire is just too good, man. So yeah, this one is a 4 out of 5. You really could even give it a 5 out of 5 depending on how you want to play it, because this is a 5 out of 5 for hipfire, but it's not a 5 out of 5 for like overall CQC performance. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because at range it holds up pretty well, although for the close range PDW role it's not quite as good. But next up we have the MP5 SD. Now the MP5 SD is another one that's kind of weird. The long barrel nerf hit pretty hard on this one, not gonna lie. I'm still running long barrel, but I don't really recommend it too much because you lose your 3-hit kill. But it does have a little bit less recoil than the MP5, but it has worse ranges, worse velocity by a ton, actually by 1000, and it's just worse. than the MP5, I'm gonna be real. I have way more kills on it, but it's just worse. And the fact that it's actually a higher rank and just worse, unless you want a suppressed gun, makes this kind of just, I'm gonna be real, it's gonna get a 3 out of 5. It does have a redeeming quality of having a tiny bit less recoil, although it doesn't really matter too much, and the fact that it's suppressed. However, it's overall a downgrade to the MP5 and probably shouldn't even be its own gun. Respectfully, it should probably just be an SD barrel for the MP5, although conversions weren't in the game when they were both added, so that's why it's not. Otherwise, it definitely would just be a FAMAS G2 type situation where it's just a thing that changes the name of the gun and changes the stats quite a bit, but honestly, the stats aren't even that different. Like, I mean, I'm a big fan of this. It's a cool gun. It's a cool suppressed MP5, but it's a 3 out of 5 because it just doesn't have too much to make it amazing and special. Next up, though, we have the MP10. Now, the MP10 is very strange because I think it might actually have a faster reload by a little bit now. That is definitely faster. Either way, basically, this is a strange MP5 side grade. They have nerfed it quite a bit. Long barrel was extremely powerful on it, and it had better ranges, and they nerfed both of those. So I don't know if it's a 5 out of 5, but it's still extremely good. Basically, if you run hollow point, you get a 3-hit kill and a 6-hit kill at range, which the MP5 has, but more RPM and kind of better recoil and a way better 3-hit kill range. It used to be even better because of long barrel, but because of the range decreases and the long barrel nerf, it's not quite as good. Honestly, this gun beams, to be completely honest. The only problem is the flashlight. I actually have the flashlight off attachment because I don't like flashlights, I'm not gonna lie. And the 3-hit kill range isn't quite as good, but it still beams pretty hard. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I should give this a 5 out of 5 still. The default gun is still really good. 120 stud min damage range, about a 50 stud 3-hit kill range. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. Still extremely powerful. Next up, though, we have the M3A1, the grease gun. This is better than L2A345. You're probably like, why? I thought the M3A1 had like 48 damage. It can't even 2-shot. Well, actually, it has a torso multi, so it can actually kill with 1 limb and 1 torso, or 2 torsos, or 1 head and 1 limb, or literally any combo that isn't 2 limbs because it does 48. So basically, to the torso, it does over 50 damage. So please take off hollow point if you have it on. It also does 80 damage to the head and 4-hit kills all ranges, and has a better 2-hit kill range to the L2A3 by like 3 times or something. Way better headshot damage and overall lower recoil as well. And I'm using muzzle booster on this thing, and it is still a laser beam. If you want a 2-hit kill to the body and really bad hipfire, the hipfire is so bad. Do not hipfire this gun. If you run a hipfire only setup, it will definitely not be like the most broken thing you've ever seen. Don't do that. That would be really bad if you run like chainsaw grip. Definitely won't have aim fire spread while you're hipfiring. Don't do that. Either way, this is a 5 out of 5. It shoots kind of slow, but I use muzzle booster and it's still super accurate. 2-hit kill really easily. Amazing multis, a 1.65 times headshot multi. That means it does like 82 damage to the head. Next up, though, we have the MP5/10. Now, the MP5/10, you wouldn't expect it to be that great because you're like, it's just an MP5, but it has lots of recoil. It's bad. Well, actually, this has about 4 times the 3-hit kill range of the MP5 and way more min damage, being able to 4-hit kill with just 1 headshot at any range. Basically, all you gotta do is hit a guy 3 times in the body and once in the head, and will 4-hit kill at any range, and still 5-hit kill at any range, which the MP5 can't do, so this is extremely good. Also, the recoil is not even bad, and with the same RPM as the MP5, it's not bad at all. It should be a 10 mil conversion on the MP5, to be honest. It shouldn't be its own gun, but yeah, worse velocity, but still very good. 2000 for PDW, that's like 500 more than average, so that's still really good. I'm not gonna lie, this gun is extremely cracked. I think this is, in my opinion, better than the MP5. The MP5 has some pretty nice upsides, like no recoil, and this has some recoil. But I'm gonna be real, this is a 5 out of 5 PDW. It literally does HK416 min damage. Actually, now it does more min damage than the HK416, while being a 3-hit kill. Yes, it has a little bit less RPM, but honestly, better recoil, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Everything that I'm trying to tell you right now is, check this gun out. This gun is so underrated. Honestly, the MP10 and the MP510 are what got me back into the game. I've been playing this game for a very long time, and when I got back into the game, I wasn't really feeling it with the guns I was using before that time. I basically mained like the AUG H-bar and like Stevens DB and a bunch of stupid guns, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try out the newest PDW that I have, which is the MP10, and I really loved that gun. And then I got the MP510 like 2 ranks later, and now I have like 1,000 kills on the gun. I was really enjoying these PDWs and having a lot of fun playing a new playstyle, which I have now, which is just rush every fight and just run around and kill people. Before that, I probably played it pretty passively. Now I just run around. So my YouTube channel would probably not exist without this gun, because I wouldn't actually be having enough fun with the game to make videos on it. Basically, all I'm trying to say is MP510 is a really, really nice gun. It's really fun. It's really accurate. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it has a little bit of recoil, but you can get like comp stubby, pull that recoil down. And yeah, overall, this is going to be a 5 out of 5 PDW easily. It's honestly contender for best PDW in the game because it's so consistently good at like basically any range. Obviously, the Colt SMG is going to be better for closer range with 200 more RPM but the same damage, but for longer ranges and higher velocity, this is a better gun. So yeah, it's honestly on par with the Colt SMG. Honestly, the Colt SMG is better, but this does have some upsides over that. So also, if I'm top fracking the PDW on Desert Storm, it's got to be at least a decent range PDW, not gonna lie. Next up, we have the Uzi. Now, the Uzi is strange because you get the UMP45 at like rank 5, you get the L23 at like rank 40, you get this gun and you're like, okay, well, this must be somewhat different, but no. It has worse damage than those guns, but it does have really good multis. But I'm gonna be real, if you want good multis and high damage, it's not your gun. This is like a 6-hit kill limit range, 3-hit kill to the body. Even with its torso multi, just use the M3A1, or if you want a gun that's very similar to this, L2A3 and UMP are, in my opinion, just better. And that's why I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's bad at all. It's a really nice PDW, but it's just not great. I don't know. The only thing that made it super crazy fun and really good was that funny conversion known as 22. But you're probably wondering, well, what happened to that? Basically, long barrel nerf and a nerf to 22 headshot multi kind of ruined that gun for me. And now that long barrel can't be used on this gun really anymore, it's not really that great. However, long barrel is not bad, I guess, because you can still 3-hit kill to the torso, but you can't 2-shot headshot, I don't think, anymore. But yeah, next up we have the AUG A3 Para, which I'm using plus P, which increases recoil. This gun is... Why did they buff this gun? Last update they buffed this gun. I don't know why. I've always said this is one of the best PDWs in the entire game. Honestly, if you wanted something like the MP5/10 but no recoil, basically about the same RPM, a little bit less, but actually about the same 3-hit kill range, less damage at range, but like I said, it's a laser beam, so basically an MP5 but even less recoil, and actually can 3-hit kill, which the MP5 really can't 3-hit kill. If you want to know which guns are overpowered, look at what people are using in competitive, and right now it is only the AUG A3, AUG A2, and AUG A3 Para, because all three of those guns have gotten some semblance of a buff in the previous update, which for AUG A2 and AUG A3, fair enough. 300 conversion wasn't that great. AUG A2 needed a little bit better recoil to compete with the other AUGs. However, the AUG A3 Para was never a gun on my list of getting a buff because it is busted. This gun was always so good, and now it's just even better. This buff needs to either get reverted soon, or this gun is eventually going to get nerfed into the ground because it is so broken right now. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is 5 out of 5. Check out this gun before it's too late. Next up we have the K7. Now the K7 is strange. This gun has gotten a little bit too many nerfs in my opinion, because even when it came out, I always thought the Vector was better. The Vector fired faster and did more damage. Then they decided that this gun would get 16 min damage, and then they nerfed the Vector 9 mil, which I didn't even use, and then they gave this gun a lot of recoil. Well, not a lot, but some recoil. Either way, it's still a very powerful gun. Hollow Point gives it 13 min, which is just awful, but a 3-hit kill up close, which is pretty cool. So it's not a awful gun. However, it's nowhere near as good, and I always thought, even from the very beginning when it was extremely powerful, that the Vector was better. So now I'm gonna give this one, controversial, a 3 out of 5. Still extremely good. It does have some upsides over the Vector, like a faster reload time and a default suppressor, which is cool. And the fact that it can use a compensator and a suppressor is pretty cool. I don't think any other gun in the game can do that. So yeah, it's not awful. However, it is no longer a great gun, I would say. It's a good gun. You could even say it's a very good gun, but it is not a great gun. It is no longer top tier, and you don't really even see the K7 anymore because it's not low rank. For one, it's like rank 90. And for a second thing, because of the recoil and stuff now, it's not really a very sweaty gun anymore. So high ranks aren't going to be using it, and low ranks can't even buy it. 3 out of 5, but still very good. Next up though, we have the AKMSU. This is a very loud gun, so I'll just put like a suppressor on it, but it's one of the few guns that actually doesn't do too bad with the long barrel on a PDW because it can still 2-hit kill head, and it has an extremely good min damage range and better pen and velocity. But I'm just going to put it on a default suppressor because it's so freaking loud. With 7.62. If you're not going to use 7.62, then don't use long barrel. But if you're not going to use 7.62, maybe don't even use this gun. The default gun is fine. It has a pretty meh 3-hit kill and 2-hit kill head range for what it is. It doesn't shoot overly fast, but then it has 9 mil, which is extremely accurate. It has a better 3-hit kill range finally. But then you have 7.62, which basically gives it more RPM, way higher damage. It does 43, which is kind of ridiculous, and 23 at range. And yeah, this is a really good gun. Definitely needs like a compensator or a long barrel to be a little bit better, but because of how loud it is, I just can't even use that. And a suppressor is fine, I guess. It has a lot of recoil. I'm not gonna lie, it has some recoil, but the recoil is pretty easy to pull down if you're using a compensator. It's kind of Colt SMG recoil where you're like, wow, this is really high, and then you pull it down and you're like, oh wait, this is actually kind of a laser beam up close. And it's kind of the same thing for this. I mean, yeah, it's not that great without a compensator because compensator reduces recoil by like 40% horizontally. But yeah, overall, this one's going to be getting a 5 out of 5 for 7.62. The other two conversions, I'd say like the default ammo is like a 3 out of 5. 9 mil is like a 4 out of 5. And this is a 5 out of 5 because it just does really good damage, not gonna lie. Next up, we have the PPSH-41. The PPSH is on paper better than the P90. And you would think that because it has more RPM and a bigger magazine, but it does the same damage, but it does more damage at long range, which is almost true except for the fact that the P90 has CiviMag, which is its own beast and also has way more pen. That's why the PPSH is not a sweat gun. Like, you don't see a lot of sweat. Like, you don't see spirals using this, but you'll see spirals with the CiviMag P90, but it's still really, really good. If you're bad at the game, this is probably the best gun except for maybe like auto shotguns if you're bad, because 71 bullets, like, how could you not kill a guy with 71 bullets, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even reload slow for 71 rounds, not gonna lie, and it shoots so fast that you can eviscerate people even if the damage is not that great. But overall, I don't think this is a top tier gun. It has some recoil, but because of how many rounds it has, you can kill people at longer ranges. However, the thing is, you're gonna kill a guy at long range, but it's not gonna be good. You're not gonna kill a guy in like 0.2 seconds like the MP5. So I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5. It's a very, very good gun, especially if you suck at the game. Next up, we have the Foul Para Shorty. Now, the Foul Para Shorty did get a nerf, so I'm not gonna give it a 5 out of 5, I don't think. It has less damage, it has more recoil, but this gun still does extremely high damage while firing pretty fast, not gonna lie, 700 RPM, and has a very fast reload time, fastest of the fouls. And yeah, with 5.56, it kind of beams people. They did nerf it because of 5.56 being so broken, but they did nerf all the fouls, so that's probably why they nerfed it. And yeah, this is definitely one of the better PDWs in the game. I would have said one of the best in the game before. Maybe it's still one of the best, but in my opinion, it's gonna be getting a 4 out of 5. The 2-hit kill is not really that often, and the min damage isn't amazing. It's like, when you really think about it, the MP5/10 has a bigger magazine, more RPM, less recoil, and actually does the same min. Yes, it does less max damage, but this gun's max damage doesn't really allow for too many 2-hit kills. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5, but still extremely strong. But next up, we have the Chris Vector. Now, the Chris Vector has 1200 RPM and 3-hit kill up close and is a 6-shot at range. However, it has no recoil and absolutely eviscerates everything in sight. This is definitely my favorite PDW in the game because not only does it actually have really low recoil, it also shoots extremely fast, and the only flaring downside is how fast it dumps its mag. So if you're not too great and you can't hit your shots in the amount of time it shoots for, then maybe don't use this because it will dump a mag in about 1.25 seconds, which is not a long time. But yeah, for what it does very well. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. You could even say it's better than the Colt SMG because it does shoot substantially faster and actually has a lower overall recoil. However, you know, it does have smaller magazine, less reserve, worse 3-hit kill range, slower reload time. Overall, it's not an amazing upgrade overall to the Colt SMG, but it's on par with the Colt SMG, definitely. In my opinion, it's just more fun. It eviscerates people. I don't know. I really love this gun. 5 out of 5 for this. Very, very good. Next up, though, we have the PP19 Bison, which before I definitely would have given this one like a, honestly, I'm going to be real, probably a 3 out of 5, if not a 2 out of 5, because this gun was not that great. I'm not going to lie. However, they did buff it. It does actually have a torso multiplier now, and I think does more min, which means it can actually 5-shot torso all ranges, has a better 3-hit kill range. It's actually really solid. I'm not gonna lie, you have 50 bullets, and you can't really go wrong with 50 bullets with decent RPM, and I'm not gonna lie, this is, if you have it, I recommend you check it out. I do not think you should pre-buy. At rank 105, this is probably one of the more weird, kind of almost generic high-rank guns, but it is really fun, and now it's actually a pretty well-performing gun. Please do not use 9mm, at least it doesn't 7-hit anymore, but now that this thing can actually 5-hit kill torso at range, it's gonna be pretty good for most players. And yeah, the reload being 3 seconds for 50 rounds is kind of cracked, not gonna lie. So yeah, 4 out of 5 on this one. Not top tier, but very good. Next up, we have the MP40. I'm gonna be real, it's almost like an L2A3 upgrade. It has the same RPM, but does more damage and has better headshot multi. And yeah, the UMP45 is kind of on par with it, but I'm gonna be real, if you want something like the L2A3, but you want basically an upgrade, this is really, really good because it has this interesting thing of, since it has a 1.65 times headshot multi for some reason, it can actually kill with 1 head and 1 limb shot, and it's very accurate. Is this the best PDW in the entire game? No, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely like more on par with the L2A3 and not necessarily a direct upgrade because the L2A3 has better min damage and I believe better velocity and better hipfire, but only slightly because this has amazing hipfire as well. Either way, this is worth a go if you're high rank. I don't really recommend you pre-buy it. I have a friend who pre-bought it and actually has like multiple thousand kills on it, but he uses only like the Tommy gun, the L2A3, and like other World War II type PDWs, so that's probably out of personal bias, not gonna lie. But it can 3-hit kill head all ranges. The headshot multi makes this gun kind of ridiculous for hitting headshots, and the recoil is extremely low as well. So yeah, this is a 4 out of 5. Honestly, the M3A1 is a little bit better, but if you're hitting heads, this is still a very easy 2-shot with 1 head and 1 shot to the body. But next up, we have the X95 SMG. This gun did get a buff in the past couple of months. It got a 40-round mag by default, but I'm gonna be real, the default gun is probably one of the worst PDWs. I hate that gun. It is not good. The 4-hit kill to the limbs, yes, it's a 3-hit kill torso, but it just shoots slow. Like, there's no reason to use it. Don't use that gun. It sucks. However, with triplex ammo, this is literally a shotgun, but it can actually 4-hit kill torso at any range, 2-hit kill to the head, and 3-hit kill to the body, anywhere on the body really easily. And also, like, that's 3 shots there that are shooting at once. 3 pellets. Basically a shotgun with 3 pellets that has automatic and also reloads a lot faster than the default gun. This is, honestly, I like this way more than duplex, I'm not gonna lie. I know duplex is way more popular. That's on the TAR-21. Probably overall just better, but I really like this gun. It actually feels so good with triplex. I know it's not necessarily the best gun in the game, but I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because it can actually deal more damage even at a range than the TAR-21 with duplex, even though this is a PDW and the TAR-21 is an assault rifle. And also I find this extremely easy to use. I don't know if it's like the pellets part, but yeah, it's very easy to use. But next up, we have the Tommy gun, which this is not a good setup. Default gun is pretty nice. It has about 700 RPM, and it does okay damage, 2-shot headshot, 6-shot at range. It's all right, but it does have a 50-round drum. However, it has a very unique thing, which doesn't necessarily make it any good, but is actually pretty fun. It's called M1919 conversion. Probably know about it. It gives it 1500 RPM, which is more than double the normal RPM. And you're probably wondering, what is the downside of this? It is not velocity. It is not range. It is not pen, it is not damage. None of those are lowered. All it does is increase recoil by a lot and increase RPM by a lot. The problem with it is probably just that you can't actually run the 50-round drum with M1919, but I'm gonna be real, I really love this gun with the default mag. I actually use this setup, which is Osaku compensator, stubby grip, green laser, and plus P, because this gun by default has like no recoil. Let me just show you M1919 with special, because this does kind of lower the recoil. This is theoretically the best close range gun in the entire game, well, at least for automatics, because 1500 RPM, but it can 2-shot kill to the head. So imagine having the Tech 9, but it can 2-shot instead of 5-shot and 3-shot to the body. So it's actually pretty decent. Also, the reload is extremely fast. That's why I like the default gun. Very fast reload. I don't really use M1919, but if you use it correctly, it can actually be pretty solid. Not for long range, but overall I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. If 1919 was compatible with like the drum mag, this would definitely be like the most broken PDW in the entire game. As it stands now, it's still extremely good for its niche. However, just because a gun is good at one specific thing doesn't make it an overall amazing gun. So that's why this one is going to be getting a 4 out of 5. Last up, we have the Rama, which the Rama is going to surprise a lot of people. They bought this thing and now it does 25 max damage. That is P90 max damage. You're like, well, that's still a 4-hit kill at close range. However, with muzzle booster, which I'm using right now, it's pretty accurate, and it has over 1000 RPM. It also has an 80-round mag for some reason, well, drum mag actually, and an extremely fast reload time for that, making this actually a not this I mean, it's not necessarily a direct upgrade, but it's better than the PPSH. I'm not gonna lie. Giving this 25 max damage was a pretty interesting move, because I don't know if this was necessarily supposed to be anything but a meme gun, but let me tell you right now, 80 rounds with like a 3-second reload time and over 1000 RPM and extremely low recoil and a 4-hit kill up close is actually extremely powerful. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5, because if you use this thing correctly, it can absolutely eviscerate entire teams. Like, you can use compensator on it and actually get like better recoil, but I love muzzle booster because it just makes it feel like it does more damage. One of the few guns that I really like muzzle booster on, because it has really interesting recoil as well. The recoil doesn't really start that high, but then it keeps going up, so you actually can like burst this thing almost and get better recoil. Overall, all I'm saying here is try this gun out if you're a high rank. I don't recommend you pre-buy it, definitely, but this is actually a 5 out of 5 gun for what it does now, because for some reason they actually made it really good, which actually surprises me so much because the E-gun, you know, it's not that great. They're never going to buff it, but they buffed this gun, which is a pretty cool move from Stylus. I did not expect this gun to ever get any kind of changes because it was a meme gun, so it didn't necessarily need a buff, but it was never broken, so it didn't need a nerf. Like if the M231 had actually been bad, because the M231 was actually intended as a meme gun, they would have never nerfed it and they would have never buffed it. That's why they have never and will never nerf or buff the Zip. Like the Zip is definitely the worst gun. However, they don't need to buff it because it's a meme gun. It's supposed to be bad. Let's just start it off with the Mark 11. Now, the Mark 11 is extremely powerful. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're using 500 Phantom, it's still really powerful. The default gun is kind of underrated. It can 2-hit kill torso to about 110 studs, 3-hit kill anywhere on the body at any range, and kill with 1 head and 1 torso at any range, while having laser velocity, 20-round mag, and honestly, if you get the RPM down, pretty high fire rate, not gonna lie. This is extremely strong, however, it does require a bit of skill, because you have to hit 2 torsos to be able to 2-hit kill up close, and you have to hit 1 head, 1 torso to kill at range, which does mean it does take a little bit of skill. But overall, if you are very, very good at getting the RPM down, which I recommend you look up like a metronome for like 280 BPM so you can get that RPM down. Otherwise, if you shoot it too fast, it will slow down the RPM. That's why most people who use this are like, it shoots so slow. It doesn't shoot slow, but for beginners, it's going to be kind of annoying to use. That's why it's not that popular. It's extremely good if you're really good with it, though. I really recommend it if you're really good. Not for low ranks, though. It's one of the few low rank guns I don't recommend, but if you're really good, it can be extremely strong. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. I should mention 500 Phantom. It has extreme draw. However, it can one-shot to the torso and is still semi-auto, but can one-hit kill torso to farther than the AWS, farther than some of the actual sniper rifles while still being a DMR, but it has a lot of recoil, 10-round mag, and only 1000 velocity instead of 2800, so I do prefer the default one. But yeah, check out this gun. It is extremely powerful. Next up, we have the SKS, which actually got a nerf, but this gun does have some really nice things. First off, fast reload, very fast RPM, not the best damage, but it has no recoil if you put a full setup on it. Like, yeah, it's extremely accurate. If you have a really good trigger finger, it isn't quite as good as it used to be, but it will eviscerate people at both close and long range. If you're not good with the Mark 11, maybe check this thing out. Although the Mark 11 is, in my opinion, quite a bit better because of higher velocity, better hits to kill, and better overall performance at range, with an extremely high recovery speed, which basically makes the recoil in the Mark 11 negligible. If you just like low recoil, this is your gun. Just keep in mind, to be really good with it, you have to have a pretty fast trigger finger, which I don't have an extremely fast trigger finger, but it's fast enough to make this actually really, really good. So yeah, I'm going to be giving this one a 4 out of 5. Before the nerf, I would have given it a 5 out of 5, but it can no longer 3-hit kill to the body really at all. It's a 4-hit kill, which the Mark 11 is a 3 and probably a 2-hit kill. So it's not that great for that, but overall, an extremely powerful gun, and if you don't like recoil, this gun is for you. Third up, we have a gun known as the SL8, and you're probably thinking, well, SL9, right? SL9 is extremely strong. It has kind of bad muzzle velocity, but think like Mark 11 500 Phantom, but better velocity, but it can also headshot kill at any range. It doesn't do great damage up close, but it can one-shot to the head at any range, which is extremely strong, and by default, it has nearly 400 RPM. That conversion by itself is like a very nice 4 out of 5, if not a 5 out of 5 if you're extremely good. However, the default gun is so busted right now because of Marksman Barrel. Now, Marksman Barrel will lower your RPM. However, it will give you better ranges, better headshot damage, better torso damage, better pen, and a much better velocity. This has more velocity than the Intervention. By the way, the Intervention is the highest default velocity gun in the entire game. It is a sniper rifle that is specifically designed to have the best velocity and ranged performance possible. They literally made it so it could actually be accurate at long range. This has more velocity than that, and it can also easily 2-hit kill and 3-hit kill at any range if you're pretty good with it. Yeah, the RPM is kind of weird. You're gonna have to get used to it versus the default SL8, which doesn't have anywhere near as good velocity, damage, and pen, but has extremely high RPM. So if you have a really good trigger finger, that's really good. However, I'm gonna be real. This might honestly be the best DMR in the entire game, because not only does it actually do damage with this, unlike the default SL8, which is kind of a bit weak. It feels a bit weak. It's actually just very similar to the SKS. In fact, it has a bigger magazine and effectively the same shots to kill, so it's actually kind of better. Even though this has almost 400 RPM, which is kind of on the slower side for normal guns, it has a 30-round mag. You will never run out of bullets with this. It will shoot for ages. So yeah, this is a 5 out of 5. I don't think I can give it anything else. The default gun is like a 4. It's not bad. It's kind of just on par with the SKS. And with 300, it's still really, really good. But let's be real. This has over double the velocity of the 300 Whisper one, but can still pretty easily 2-hit kill at range. Next up, though, we have the VSS. Now, the VSS can 2-hit kill torso at any range. However, it has 700 RPM. It has a 10-round magazine, but it does have 100 reserve and reloads very fast. Now, I'm going to be real. If you like the ECR, but you want an ECR that performs well at range and can run in semi-automatic and actually be cracked because it does more damage than the Mark 11, can 2-hit kill torso, does the same min damage, has better multis, actually does 99 damage to the head up close. This gun is for you. I'm gonna be real, 5 out of 5. I think it might be my highest kill DMR at this point. No, the SKS I think is actually higher because I used to run the SKS as a low range, but I have nearly 1,000 on this gun because run it on auto and close range, put it on semi-auto and switch to your canted ACOG at range. And yes, this has some drop, but the fact that you can dispense rounds so quickly and easily 2-hit kill people at any range makes this extremely strong. Not the best DMR in the entire game, but definitely a 5 out of 5 because it can contend. You could honestly say that this is the best DMR for both close and long range because it does really well in close range. If you're good at accounting for drop, it is still possibly the best one at long range as well. Then you have the MSG-90. Now, the MSG-90 does have a 20-round magazine now. You could say it's better than the Mark 11, but I'm going to be real. Something about this gun doesn't mesh well for me. You could say it's better than the Mark 11. It depends on what you think about it, but honestly, with the recovery speed, it just doesn't feel that great. I don't know, the recoil and the velocity and stuff just don't sit right for me. I'm gonna be real. This gun used to be able to one-shot headshot, and it can with the 10-round 308 conversion. However, I don't really recommend that conversion because there are guns earlier and later on the list that have 10 rounds that I just think are better. But if you want something like the Mark 11 that is arguably better, I do recommend this gun a lot. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 though, in my opinion, because I feel like the Mark 11 kind of edges it out. And at this moment, it's kind of my least favorite DMR in the game. I'm not gonna lie, I just don't really enjoy it too much. But it does 2-hit kill limb up close, which is pretty nice and almost can one-shot head. And with 308, it can do that with 3000 velocity, which isn't as good as the SL8 with the marksman barrel, but it's still very, very good. But next up, we have the M21. Now, the M21 is not the 10-round gun that I was saying is better than the MSG with 308, but it's not bad, not gonna lie. It doesn't shoot super fast, however, it can one-shot to the head to a pretty decent range, like 130 studs, which is not bad at all. It doesn't 2-hit kill anywhere all ranges, but it can 2-hit kill pretty well up close, and it does have extremely low recoil. I'm not gonna lie, it does have really nice recovery speed. The thing about this gun is that since it doesn't shoot as fast as other 10-round guns, it's not amazing, but it does one-shot headshot. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. However, there are 10-round guns that are better, specifically the VSS, and I'll spoil it now, the TCR is just way better than this. However, this is competitive with those guns, not gonna lie, and that low recoil and fast recovery really does help it to stand above stuff like the VSS and the TCR, which have a little bit more kick. It does have good pen and good velocity, so really good gun overall. Next up, we have the Beowulf TCR. Now, the TCR has a few different conversions, none of which are better than default. If you want a worse headshot kill range and a worse 2-hit kill range or a bigger magazine, and don't use 4.58 because just don't, it's not good. 5.56 does give you a 30-round magazine, higher RPM, and kind of just a SL8 type experience at a higher rank, and requires a conversion, and SL8 with long barrels better. Then you have Duplex, which is kind of cool. It can one-shot headshot, and it does 70 to the body, which is technically a little bit more than the limb damage of the default gun, and it does have binary kit, which does make it kind of have this weird burst fire mode. However, I'm gonna be real, if you're gonna use anything, don't use any of these. Duplex is not bad, not gonna lie, like, it's decent. If you're not great with the gun, then use Duplex because, like, there's no recoil and stuff, so it's kind of nice to use. But I am going to be completely real. If you want to pop off the default gun with the long barrel, because this gun is now my favorite DMR in the entire game. Honestly, one of my favorite guns in the entire game at this point, because it has a 2-hit kill to anywhere up close, a 1-hit kill to about 120 studs, but it has that RPM. The attack reload is very fast as well, and it has 3.3 studs of pen. And also, because of its torso multi, it is able to 2-hit kill to the torso at any range. So if you want a VSS, basically, that can one-shot headshot up close, actually not even up close, very far. And yeah, it does shoot a little bit. Oh my gosh. Like, this is what I'm saying about this gun. This gun is so cracked. If you want the MSG-90, but better RPM, better damage at range, better damage, better pen, better reload, I'm gonna be real. This is honestly, like, look at the hip fire, by the way. The hipfire is cracked. Here's the thing that makes it broken right now. Before, it was really, really good. But basically, it has squad barrel, which is the assault rifle long barrel for some reason. This gives it better max damage range, better min damage range, better velocity by quite a bit. better penetration. As you can see, it has 3.3 studs of pen. This is a 50 cal, by the way. It's a 50 cal DMR, not 50 BMG, but 50 Beowulf, and lower recoil. So basically what you have is a gun that does 91 damage to the body in close range, 62 limb, and can one-shot headshot to like at least 100 studs, as well as having amazing hip fire and can shoot very fast. So up close, this is a very easy two-shot and a one-shot headshot. And yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Not only is this gun insane, I'm also cracked with this gun. I don't know why. Somehow I just actually go off with this gun. I hit way more headshots. It has a little bit of drop to it, but the long barrel definitely helps with the drop. It has almost 2000 velocity. So if you can deal with VSS drop, you can definitely deal with this. It has like 500 more velocity. Overall, this is a 5 out of 5. And in my opinion, this is, I'm gonna be real, I like it more than the SL8 with the marksman barrel, which is not necessarily meaning that it's better than that. It has like way less velocity and 1/3 the magazine capacity, but it does have a little bit more RPM and just does better damage. So yeah, of course, up close, this just eviscerates people. If you're really good at hitting 2 consecutive shots or 1 headshot, while at range, it will take at most 3 shots to kill. And honestly, in most scenarios, because it can 2-shot torso ranges, it will be a 2-shot at any range, unless you're hitting heads, and then it will be a 1. So basically, use this gun is all I'm saying. Keep in mind, this is a very high skill ceiling gun. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta hit consecutive shots to be really good with it, and you gotta hit your headshots to be insane with it. And also, you gotta control drop and stuff, and it does have a little bit of recoil. So this is not an everyman's gun. This is not like the M16A3. Not everybody is going to do well with this gun, but if you are good and you can hit your shots, this is like the best gun in the entire game for me, at least. Like, I don't know, man. The squad barrel basically made this gun go from extremely good to like top tier in my opinion. Easily, this is a 5 out of 5. Please use it. I want to see more people using this gun, man. Next up, we have the SA58, which before I would have said is possibly the best DMR in the game. It has 500 RPM. 20 round capacity, but a very slow reload time, slowest in class, I do believe, but it can one-shot headshot to 50 studs, which is not bad because it can shoot so fast. And yes, it can 3-hit kill up close, but just like the M3A1, it's usually going to be a 2-shot because 48 with a torso multi means 1 limb and 1 torso will kill, and also it has a 2.1 times headshot multi. Basically means, yes, it's going to one-shot headshot up close, but be a 2-shot to the head at any range, which is really good. Lots of drop, not amazing recoil, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, this is not a long-range gun. This is a extremely powerful close range foul. If you want a foul that does really cracked damage and is more like a foul from a different game, you know how most fouls in most games will be semi-auto but will do very high damage. This is for you one-shot headshot up close, extremely fast RPM, extremely good 2-hit kills. In my opinion, the TCR is just better because this is a 4-hit kill at range even with torso. So this is a 4-hit kill torso and this is a 2-hit kill torso. This has more than double the one-shot kill head range but only 100 less RPM and a very fast reload time, 2.3 seconds instead of 3.2 seconds. So yeah, I will be giving this one a 5 out of 5 because I feel like it is very top tier for DMRs. And yeah, before I would have said that this is the best CQC DMR in the game. However, when it really comes down to it, one-shot headshot to like medium range, like this will not always one-shot headshot up close because the stud is pretty short. I'm not gonna lie. You could be in a building with somebody and still be 50 studs away. But yeah, this is still a 5 out of 5 if you want a little bit more RPM as well as a bigger magazine. This is really, really good. Definitely better than SOCOM. Do not use SOCOM over the SA58. Just don't use SOCOM. Just use the default gun. It's so crap. But finally, we have the gun known as the SCAR SSR. Now, the SCAR SSR, I would have said before, is like the best DMR in the game. And yeah, it is a extremely powerful DMR with a crazy one-shot kill to the head range, a 2-hit kill to the body basically all the time, and a crazy torso multiplier. This gun does like 57 to the limbs, right? It does 96 torso. It gets like 30 extra damage when you hit the biggest hitbox on the body. So basically, it can one-shot to anybody to the body who was damaged at all. And yeah, if you want an SVU but more RPM and a little bit more velocity, this is a very good option. I'm not gonna lie. This is like one of the best, if not the best DMR in the entire game. Before, it was hands down the best, but like with the DMRs actually getting some big changes, this is not necessarily the best. It's never gotten a nerf. But if you want the classic high damage DMR feel, this is the slowest firing and highest recoil DMR in the entire game. However, it does the most damage. So if you want that, this is really good. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because it deserves it. It has like a 170 stud, 1-hit kill to the head range. However, the TCR shoots basically 2 times as fast and still 2-shot torso at range. And yeah, it has like half the velocity, but it's not half. It's actually like 1,000 less. It's still 1,000 less, but the TCR is, in my opinion, better because the TCR pops off in close range. This is meh in close range, and the TCR still works great at long range. This is obviously a little bit better in long range, probably, depending on how you use it. This is, in my opinion, the 3rd best DMR in the game now, instead of the 1st. I would say my order would go for top 3. This gun, the SL8 with marksman barrel, and finally the TCR, because TCR is, in my opinion, like my favorite gun in the game right now. Maybe I'm biased, but I didn't even like it that much before, so But yeah, let's start it off with the intervention. Now, the intervention just got its 7-round magazine back, and honestly, this was not necessary. This is an extremely powerful sniper rifle with the highest default velocity in the game, so basically no drop, and a very far torso kill range. As you can see, this gun goes extremely hard. It doesn't have a long barrel and it doesn't need one. It can one-hit kill torso to 150 studs, which is way farther than most of the other sniper rifles in the game. And yeah, this is extremely powerful. And it has 4 studs of penetration, which is actually tied for second highest penetration in the game. The only thing higher are the NTW and the 50 cals, and yeah, those don't even really count as like regular sniper rifles. They're anti-material rifles. So if you're going for a regular sniper, this is probably going to be the most powerful one. However, it does shoot a little bit slow and handles kind of slow as well. You kind of need skeleton grip, and overall it doesn't shoot the fastest of the sniper rifles, but as you can see, this gun goes insanely hard, close range and long range, because it's such an effective one-hit kill that, to be honest, you will just one-tap so much it doesn't really matter. The RPM isn't quite as fast as other sniper rifles. So this one is an easy 5 out of 5. If you want just an extremely powerful sniper rifle at rank 0, this is basically the best you can get. But next up we have the Remington 700. Now the Remington 700 has 15 more RPM than the intervention. It has a slightly smaller magazine and a worse torso kill range, and worse pen and velocity. However, it bolts faster and it's an overall faster sniper rifle. So if you don't like how slow the intervention is and you want a faster gun with faster handling and a faster rate of fire, this is very good. It also has a pretty decent torso kill range of about like 70 studs. It used to have a 100 with the long barrel, but now that long barrel reduces your max damage range, I don't use that anymore because now it kind of almost reduces your torso kill range on certain sniper rifles, which is kind of annoying, not gonna lie. You can use the light, aka short barrel, to get a better torso kill range on this gun, but right now I'm just using a suppressor because suppressors on sniper rifles have literally no downside. This is more of a CQC and overall sniper rifle. It doesn't have any defining downside. It has good velocity, good pen, good RPM, good torso kill range, good magazine capacity. Everything about it is good, but it just doesn't have anything super special. And because of a gun later on this list before, when they first added the budget straight pull bolt where you can actually keep shooting without aiming out if you're not using a scope, and with the long barrel it was a 5 out of 5, but now that it has this, but it has the problem of not having as great of a torso kill range, and a different sniper rifle got a buff, it kind of makes it a better version of this. I'm gonna be honest, this one is going to get a 4 out of 5 now. It used to be a 5 out of 5, and it's still one of my favorite sniper rifles. Extremely powerful and extremely good for a low rank. However, there is just a better option that is just overall better. I'm not gonna lie. It has a way better torso kill range with the same RPM. So there's not a ton of reason to use this. Doesn't mean it's a bad sniper rifle by any means. Very much one of the higher tier, even you could say top tier sniper rifles. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Nothing really bad about this gun. It's really good. But next up we have the Dragunov SVU. A lot of people will think the SVU sucks. It can't one-hit kill to the body unless you have a conversion, which isn't even really that great. It's like a worse wall 2K conversion. So why would you ever use this gun? It's a semi-auto gun. Well, here's the thing. It can one-hit kill to the head to like 250 studs or something stupid, like all conceivable close range to like longer ranges easily. And it doesn't one-hit kill to the body. However, it has 150 RPM and 2-hit kill anywhere on the body at any range, which most sniper rifles do that anyway, and can one-hit kill to most conceivable ranges. So basically what I'm saying is this is a semi-auto sniper rifle that, except for the torso kill, is completely good in every other aspect of the gun. It one-hit kills super far, can 2-hit kill anywhere, all ranges, while being semi-auto and actually having a pretty fast rate of fire. If you're really good at hitting headshots, this is amazing, and if you like sniper rifles, I don't recommend this. This is more of a DMR type gun, where you can tap fire people at long range and you might need to hit follow-up shots, but that was 226 studs there. That is within the one-hit kill range of this gun. This thing has such a ridiculous one-hit kill head range. It is just inconceivably far. That plus the 2-hit kill limb, all ranges with 50 damage, makes this, in my opinion, a better version of the Scar SSR. The Scar SSR does have some upsides, specifically more RPM, but I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. If you're extremely good with this gun, it will destroy every other sniper rifle because it will just one-tap them, except it has triple the RPM of the intervention. Actually, more than that. But next up, we have the AWS. Now, the AWS is actually an extremely powerful sniper rifle now. It has a little bit more RPM than the Remington and a bigger magazine, but it does have a little bit worse of a torso kill range, but the little bit of extra RPM is nice. The bigger magazine is nice. Don't use extended mag on the Remington, it's not worth it, but on this you just have a default extended mag. It's also suppressed and it will never show up on the radar at any distance because it's integrally suppressed. The problem with this gun is that the torso kill range is kind of trash, I'm not gonna lie. It's 50 studs, which is not great at all, but honestly this is maybe better than the Mosin because 10 rounds by default and about the same RPM with the free torso kill, and now that it has more velocity you can actually hit shots with it, which makes it extremely good. However, I'm gonna be real, for the fast snipers, this is not necessarily the best. However, because it is integrally suppressed and also it has the RPM and it has the magazine capacity, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. And that's kind of crazy, going from like the worst sniper rifle in the game in my opinion to a 5 out of 5. And the reason for this is because with 250 extra velocity, this gun has velocity on par with other sniper rifles. Yeah, a little bit worse than most of them, but 2,500 velocity is really not something that you should be too scared about. And with a 50 stud torso kill, plus this much RPM, you can hit follow-up shots really easily. And I'm not gonna lie, very enjoyable. And the reason that is a 5 out of 5 is because of the suppressor, because you use a suppressor on other sniper rifles, it will still show up on the radar, or it will lower your velocity or your handling, and this just has a suppressor. So yeah, that's why I'm going to be giving this one a 5 out of 5. It also just shoots so fast that you can actually hit your follow-up shots really easily. Yeah, it doesn't have the best velocity, the best pen, or the best torso kill range, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a very high tier sniper rifle. But next up we have the BFG-50. At one point I almost said it was on par with the AWS, but now that the AWS got a big buff, the BFG is just simply the worst sniper rifle in the game. The Hecate just does it better. It has a 7-round capacity, and yes, if you're hitting your shots consistently with this, it does one-hit kill torso all ranges with a very high velocity. The Hecate just does what this does, but better in like every way. And because of the long barrel nerf, this thing doesn't even have a good limb kill range, which was the only thing that was better than the other 50 cals in the game. I will be giving this one a 2 out of 5. The reason it's getting a 2 is because it does have some redeeming qualities. It's not quite a 1 out of 5 because here's the thing, it does have one specific thing that makes it better than the Hecate a little bit in that one particular field, which is that it does have a slight limb kill range, which is nice because you can one-hit kill pinky toe in close range. And it doesn't make this the best CQC sniper, more of a long-range gun, so it's not a huge problem. However, I have over 1,000 kills on this gun. It's extremely fun, and I do recommend you check it out if you have it unlocked. I don't recommend you pre-buy it because people get mad, but yeah, 2 out of 5, not amazing at all. Next up, you have the AWM. Now, the AWM basically takes Remington 700 and AWS and puts them together. It has the same RPM as the Remington 700 at 60, so a little bit slower than the AWS, but only by 5. However, it has a 90 stud torso kill range, farther than the Remington, while reloading faster. It does have an op conversion to give it 10 rounds. I don't recommend that. I would recommend the AWS over that because honestly, that conversion kind of sucks. It has worse velocity than the AWS and about the same torso kill range, but this has a 90 stud torso kill range while firing extremely fast. And even though it only has 5 rounds, it reloads so fast that it doesn't really matter anyway. So this is probably the best overall sniper rifle in the game. Before, I would have said the Remington had that, and now that the Remington long barrel isn't that great, the AWM kind of picks up the slack of that, and with its RPM buff, it's kind of just better. It has a better torso kill range, but the same pen, but more muzzle velocity, and deals far more limb damage, doing 82 instead of 75. So full 7 more damage. Obviously not a big deal, they're both a 2-hit, but this, because of the torso multi and the high min damage, it can actually still hit for like 96 at range, which is kind of cracked because if a guy's weakened at all, you can actually kill him with 1 torso shot at any range, which is kind of a thing on a lot of sniper rifles, but actually this does more torso than the intervention at range. And yeah, this reloads extremely fast and fires extremely fast while still having a very nice 90 stud torso kill range. That's why this gun has been talked about a lot recently, because the buff finally came out. Before, it said it had 60 RPM, but it still had 50, which it's fine. 50 RPM is not bad, but 60 is just next level. Honestly, 55 would have been fine. But you know what? They gave it 60. They made it finally good because the AWM was never really amazing. It was always good. It was just never a top tier sniper rifle compared to stuff like the Remington and the intervention and stuff. But the little bit of more RPM it got, it just made it so much better. I'm not gonna lie. But next up, you have the TRG. Now, the TRG isn't actually too great anymore. It's still fine and has a slight limb kill range. Just like the BFG, you can kill to the pinky toe up close, and it does have a little bit more RPM than the intervention. However, because of the long barrel nerf and a nerf to the gun itself, it only has about a 100 stud torso kill range, which you can increase to about 120 if you're using short barrel, aka light barrel. But I'm gonna be real, this is a alright sniper rifle. It has very high velocity and a very nice torso kill range, but it's more of like a strange gun where it's like, it's really good for close range because it can limb kill, which is nice because you can never hit marker with it if you're really close to a guy. However, when you add in the fact that it doesn't even shoot that fast, then you're like, okay, so it's more of like a long range sniper, right? But the torso kill range isn't better than the intervention and it has less velocity. So it's not even like an amazing long range gun either. There are guns that just do it better close and long range. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. It used to easily be a 5 out of 5, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, very, very good one. It's really up there. It's not quite top tier anymore. When it had that 200 stud torso kill range, range, yes, it was definitely like the best sniper in the game. Next up though, we have the Mosin. Now the Mosin is extremely powerful because of a few features. First off, it has 70 RPM, and secondly, it has extremely fast handling. The problem with it is that it can't actually one-hit kill torso. So yes, you can't actually kill to the body without 8mm, and I don't recommend 8mm. It's not good, just use the AWS to be honest. But if you have extended mag, it does shoot a little bit faster than the AWS with better velocity. However, the AWS is actually just kind of better, I'm not gonna lie. It has a little bit less RPM and a little bit less velocity, but it has both the torso kill and the one-hit kill head all ranges without a ton of downsides, not gonna lie. It also has a built-in 10-round magazine, which the Mosin can't run 8mm and the 10-round mag at the same time. So honestly, I'm gonna be real. Right there, that was a torso hit. If I was using the AWS, it would have been exactly the same experience, but it won a one-tap. But let's say I wanted to use Mosin 8mm instead. Well, it wouldn't have a 10-round magazine. I also would have worse velocity than the AWS, and also I wouldn't be able to one-hit kill a head at range. But the AWS can do all of that. Sure, it's a little bit weaker in some aspects, but I'm gonna be real. Mosin is, in my opinion, a 4 out of 5. It's very good. It does have some advantages, like the fact that 8mm does have a pretty decent torso kill range at a very high rate of fire, and it can have a 10-round mag with 70 RPM. But I'm gonna be real, there are snipers like the AWM that just kind of do it better. So yeah, 4 out of 5 is in order for this one. It's not bad. My major problem with it is that you can't use iron sights anymore, and I don't know how to use this gun with anything that isn't iron sights, because iron sights now don't even zoom in at all. Next up, we have the Dragunov SVDS, which had the same thing. You can't use irons anymore, which sucks because I used irons for about 1,000 kills. But the thing about this is that think Mosin, but a little bit less RPM, but it actually has both a 10-round mag and a 75 stud torso kill range while being semi-automatic, which means you can switch your gun and not have to bolt it. You can stay aimed in and shoot it multiple times. And yeah, it has a tiny bit of recoil, but let's be real, because it shoots kind of slower, it kind of recenters every single time you shoot. And yes, before this wasn't the best necessarily sniper in the game. However, with a 10-round mag and no bolting and still a 75 stud torso kill range, this was one of the better snipers in the game, and a lot of people liked it. Now that the other snipers have gotten rebalanced and this hasn't been changed other than the iron sights, this is honestly a 5 out of 5. It's definitely one of the top tier sniper rifles. And yeah, if you want a semi-auto sniper rifle, but you don't want the M107 experience, this is very good. I'd say this is overall one of the best CQC sniper rifles in the entire game, because shoot it multiple times, just quick scope people down, and it has a pretty solid 75 stud one-hit kill torso range. I might say the AUM is a little bit better. The AUM does have to bolt and has less rounds in a magazine. However, it does have the same RPM while being able to one-hit kill torso farther. Very, very good gun though. Next up, we have the K14. K14 had the exact same issue as some of the other ones, where I would always use iron sights, and now I have to use the Coyote sight, which kind of sucks because the iron sights are really good, but they don't zoom in. Now, I believe this has a 70 stud torso kill range now instead of like 100, but it could be 80, probably about an 80. This gun has a few major problems. First off, it doesn't shoot overly fast. It has 50 RPM, which is fine, and it doesn't have an amazing torso kill range, but it has 10 rounds and an extremely fast reload time, which makes feeding with this gun effortless, because you can miss multiple shots and still be able to keep a feed going, and also reloading doesn't even matter because that's the reload for 10 rounds. I don't think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 now, because AWM kind of does it better with a faster rate of fire, a better torso kill range, and about the same reload anyway. Yeah, this has 10 rounds, but yeah, it's not really amazing anymore. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, worth checking out. However, the biggest problem for me is that it doesn't really do good limb damage at all. It does 68 to 55, so you can't really finish people that have been hurt by anybody else too much, which means you'll get less kills eventually doing that. But yeah, definitely a 4 out of 5, really solid. Next up, we have the Hecate 2. Now, this gun is actually really good now, because unlike the M107, it can torso kill in close range and long range, and still has like the same overall advanced stats, meaning velocity and pen, because it has 10 studs of pen, so you can shoot through every wall, and it has 3000 velocity, the same as the TRG. The problem with it is that it doesn't shoot too fast and doesn't handle that well either, but this is just a direct upgrade to the BFG, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It might have been a 3 out of 5 back when the M107 was still in the game, in the state that it was, because before it was basically a semi-auto Hecate, and now the Hecate does have some nice upsides of, if you don't like having to hit multiple shots to the body in close range, this does have that advantage. But next up, we have the FT300. Now, the FT300 is kind of strange. It kind of got destroyed. Longbow was one of the main things that made it great, and so was 308. And now it's not bad necessarily, but it's not great at any one particular thing. With 308 and short barrel, it has an extremely great torso kill range of about 120 studs. However, awful velocity, awful damage at range, and it doesn't reload or shoot overly fast. And the overall gun has a bunch of bad conversions that nobody cares about. So I'm gonna be real, this one is gonna get a 3 out of 5. Like, it's not bad with certain attachments, but you can get a kind of overall better sniping experience from most of the other sniper rifles in the game. 3 out of 5 because it does have some redeeming stuff, but really, like, if you use the AUM and stuff like that, you're just going to get better overall stats, making this not really that great. Not the worst sniper rifle ever, but definitely not top tier anymore. Next up though, we have the M107. Now the M107 now has 200 RPM, which means you can fire it extremely fast, faster than the Dragunov SVU. However, there is a big problem with it. It does have a lot of recoil, and it can't one-hit kill torso in close range. But just like the gyrojet, it can one-hit kill torso past 100 studs at any range, which means if you're using this in medium to long range, it is just a 200 RPM gun that can one-hit kill body. And unlike the gyrojet, this is actually accurate. The gyrojet literally has spread like a shotgun. This does not. It just is super accurate. It has 3000 velocity, and it is busted. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the best versions of the M107 there's ever been in the game. I've actually been unironically using this thing for very far... Oh my gosh, ranges? This is absolutely ridiculous. It's like a gyrojet, but it's just consistent one taps, which is just actually scary. Also, the hip fire is just extremely good because for some reason it actually makes the recoil pretty low for 200 RPM. And also, if you use CQB barrel, then you actually get an 85 stud torso kill range at still 200 RPM. This gun is really busted. So yeah, this one is going to get a 5 out of 5. Probably for long range sniping, the best sniper in the game, and it can still work in close range because 2 shots at 200 RPM is not hard to hit. Next up though, we have the Steyr Scout. Now, the Steyr Scout with the Forge setup is obviously going to be getting an 11 out of 5 because in fact it is the best gun in the game. But I guess we can also cover the default gun, which is actually pretty solid, not gonna lie. It has 2 pretty nice conversions now. 376 Steyr, which does give it a slight torso kill, however awful damage at range, 19. That's lower than the 22 sniper rifles, but it can still actually one-hit kill head all ranges. However, if you use 556, you actually get a 10 round mag, faster reload, and 100 RPM, but it can one-hit kill head all ranges. Basically what this is kind of like an SVU, but with an infinite headshot kill range, and depending on how you use it, either about 85 RPM or about 100 RPM. However, it does awful body damage. And I'm gonna be real, this isn't actually as good as you might expect, because yes, if you're very, very good at the game, this will be extremely good. However, if you're very, very good at hitting headshots, I'm going to be real, the SVU is better. It can 2-hit kill anywhere on the body at any range, and it can 1-hit kill head to anything but the farthest ranges. But if you're really good, you can just hit a follow-up shot at those ranges and get 150 RPM. It is not a bad sniper rifle at all, and 376 Steyr is really, really good, out like 85 RPM. So I will be giving this a 5 out of 5 because of 376 Steyr. The default gun is not better than the SVU. The SVU, unless it has like a worse headshot kill range eventually, is just going to be better, or they buff this gun again. But I feel like it's in a good spot now. If you're very good with it, yes, it does have extremely high velocity. It's a very high skill ceiling gun, a lot of upsides and a lot of downsides, so yeah. It's really just what you want from your gun, and I'm assuming most people don't want to have bad body damage overall. Next up though, we have the WA 2000. Now the WA 2000 is strange because it did get its 300 conversion nerfed pretty bad, but 300 is still extremely powerful. It gives it 100 instead of 90 RPM, and gives it about a 80 or 90 stud torso kill range. After 150 studs, it can't one-hit kill head. So it's kind of just like a Mosin 8mm, but 100 RPM. So if you want the Mosin 8mm, use this gun. It is extremely powerful. It does have some downsides, and the default gun does have extremely high velocity and one-hit kill head all ranges with a nice 40 stud torso kill range. So if you want something like the Steyr Scout, this is kind of just that, but better without 300, and with 300, it is an extremely powerful torso killing DMR for close range. And it even works at long range, however, it will be like a 3-hit kill sometimes at long range and won't one-hit kill head all ranges. So I'd say it's kind of balanced, but honestly, 5 out of 5. The WA 2K is extremely powerful. And yeah, if you want to pre-buy it, I recommend you pre-buy it in the test place first. Make sure you like it, because in my opinion, it's not really my favorite sniper. I don't really use it too often. However, it is extremely powerful. So if you have the credits, buy it in the test place so you can check it out before having to live with your decision of spending like 20,000 credits on a gun. But for the high ranks, this is probably one of the most well-known and well-respected guns because yeah, it can do that. Oh my gosh, I'm hitting so many headshots. Next up though, we have the NTW. Now I'm not gonna lie, this is better than the BFG 50. It has 4 bullets and it can still torso kill all ranges. Honestly, it's just an overall better BFG. I like the BFG a lot more. I don't like this gun at all. And theoretically, it's kind of better than the Hecate because it can torso kill ranges but limb kill very far and basically has the same RPM. However, does have one problem where you can't aim unless you're sitting next to an object or you're crouching or prone. It also has a smaller magazine and all that stuff. I just hate, I don't like using it like this. An Obras barrel is kind of cool on it, but not great because you lose a lot of what makes it good, like the velocity and stuff. Now, like I said, it is better than the BFG, but I'd say it's worse than the Hecate, especially for me. So I will be giving this one a 3 out of 5. However, it does have some redeeming stuff, which is why I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5 because, I mean, it does the most damage of any of the snipers. It also does have a magazine, and it does have the highest penetration ammo type in the entire game, 20x110, which actually doesn't have a magazine. It's only one bullet. However, yeah, it's an overall pretty nice gun, but you have to kind of camp with it to be really great. The Hecate 2, you can just run around with. This, you kind of got to go into crouch or prone to really hit shots. That's a pretty big downside, I'm not going to lie. Let's just start it off with the M4A1, one of the good carbines. Now, the M4A1 is kind of trash for range, like most carbines are. It drops down to 19 at range, but it does have a CQC 3-hit kill, as well as some pretty good CQC stats, like a very fast reload time, and the ability to 2-hit to the head if you're using short barrel and 25-45. It also does have 25-45, which I do recommend, because it's a direct upgrade to every gun it's on. The problems with this gun are kind of low velocity, pretty trash damage at range, and a pretty alright 3-hit kill range. Like, it's not great, but it's okay. But the other stats more than make up for that, and honestly, I feel like it's better than the M16A3 at this point, because like, it is super accurate, and yes, it doesn't do great range damage, but I prefer the CQC 3-hit, and the M16A3 just doesn't have the recoil that makes me want to use it at range, so I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. Honestly, I feel like it's better than the M16A3 at this point. A little bit less RPM, a little bit worse min damage, but it has the CQC 3-hit as well as a full stock and lower recoil overall. Next up, though, we have the G36K, which I have over 1,400 kills on it. Apparently, I don't have anything equipped on this loadout, but yeah, this is a 3-hit kill to about 50 studs. And yes, it does drop to a 6-hit kill at very far ranges, but it has really good ranges, especially for a carbine. Great pen for a carbine, and pretty decent overall fire rate, recoil, reload speed, pen, velocity. A lot of stats that makes it more of like an assault rifle, but it does have the 6-hit kill at range. But honestly, this is another 5 out of 5. And for me, I'm gonna be real, I like this more than the M4A1. When I was using my alt account, I was actually using this gun pretty much exclusively for the first few ranks. It's an overall great gun. It works fine at range because amazing 4-hit kill range. Yes, it's received many nerfs, but after its initial buff and then 300 conversion, it has just been great. Don't use 300 conversion anymore. 300 sucks. I don't recommend it really at all. But then next up, we have the M4. It does have a little bit more recoil than it did before, and it is a burst, so if you're a low rank, I don't recommend it because it's more like a G11 type burst where you can't hyper burst it, but if you're good at bursting it, it is extremely good. 950 RPM, the highest so far on the list, and a 2-hit kill head, a 3-hit kill pretty far. Yes, it is a 6-hit kill at range, but with a great headshot multiplier, it probably won't be a 6-hit kill too often if you're good at hitting heads, and a way better 3-hit kill range than the M4A1. Except for being a burst, this is literally objectively better than the M4A1 in every way, with like lower recoil, the same attachment compatibility, a faster reload by a little bit. Overall, an extremely good gun. However, because it's a burst and the burst got a nerf, and because of the M16A4's existence, which I'm gonna be real, when it really comes down to it, the advantage of the M4A1 over the M16A3 is the 3-hit kill. This actually has a 3-hit kill, and so does the M16A4. They both have a 2-hit kill head, but the M16A4 just has better velocity and better min damage. So there's not a ton of reason to use this. It does have a little bit better RPM and a little bit less recoil, but I don't think it's enough. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because it does have some advantages, and it is still extremely good, but it isn't like a top tier gun. And then next up, we have the L22. Now, the L22, this update is not bad. I actually found that T-brake is kind of helpful, not gonna lie. Maybe use pistol grip as well, but T-brake just kind of lowers the overall recoil. If you use compensator, it has a lot of vertical kick. But the thing about this gun is that it's range recoil, but pretty low recoil overall. Plus, now that has 24 min, it is a somewhat effective 4-hit kill at all ranges. But if you use hollow point, it can be a 3-hit kill in close range while still being a 5-hit kill at any range, which is not bad because before it was almost a 7-hit kill with that because it got like 3 more min damage. And I'm gonna be real, this makes it pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best gun in the game. Guns that just kind of do it better. But now I'm gonna be giving it a 3 out of 5. It used to be like a 2 or like a 1, but because of the min damage buff and hollow point being really good, it's not amazing. I am just running into the entire enemy team so I can get a lot of kills, but it's not necessarily the best gun, but it definitely has some redeeming stuff. It makes it actually pretty good. I do like it with hollow point, a ton of damage drop, not great pen, not great velocity, and overall the M4A1 is kind of just going to do you better, but this is actually a pretty solid gun after the buff. Next up, we have the Scar PDW. Now, the Scar PDW is weird. I don't feel like it's necessarily better than the M4A1, but it does have some nice features. First off, it has a 2-hit kill head by default, a pretty nice 3-hit kill range that is a lot farther than the M4A1, and honestly might have lower recoil. It is extremely accurate. Yes, it doesn't hit too hard at range, and yes, it doesn't shoot quite as fast, but I'm gonna be real, because of a few different things, this is a 5 out of 5 gun, because overall, it does have some insanely powerful and nice features. First off, it has 2 great conversions, 9x19, which gives you a 4-hit kill by 100 extra RPM, and a 50-round drum for exactly the same reload speed, as well as the Scar HPDW, which lowers your RPM a little bit and increases recoil and gives you a 20-round mag, but gives you a 2-hit kill to the torso in close range, which is really good. I'm gonna be completely honest, this is an extremely good gun because of all that stuff. It's not necessarily the best gun in any particular aspect. It even has a full stock and a long barrel though, but because it has so much to it, I feel like it's a great gun to get a lot of kills on and to use overall. So it's a 5 out of 5. Not because it's objectively the best gun in the game or anything, but because it just has so much there, so much to enjoy and so much to use. But next up, we have the AKU-12. Now, the AKU-12 is, I'm gonna be real, it's not amazing anymore, mostly because of 9mm conversion. 9mm is actually still pretty good. You have to be pretty good at bursting it, but it does have 1,000 RPM and a 2-hit kill head up close. And honestly, it's still pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the PPK-12, in my opinion, is the best burst gun in the entire game for overall use, because 2-hit kill head up close, 3-hit kill body, 1,000 RPM, and it can hyper burst. It's not necessarily the best anymore, but because this gun is kind of just a better version of the M4A1 in a few ways. First off, it has a better 3-hit kill range, does a little bit more damage, and fires a little bit faster, but it has some pretty serious downsides of a little bit more recoil and not as fast of a reload, which is kind of 2 of the biggest things about the M4A1. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 as well. It does have some downsides, but like 9mm is, if you're really good, it is kind of just the best burst, except for maybe the G11, but honestly, this will destroy the G11 in close range. Next up, we have the Groza 1. Now, the Groza 1 is a strange gun because default, this gun is like a 3 out of 5. It's not bad. It's probably the weakest 7.62 in the entire game. However, with 5.56, 750 RPM, extremely low recoil, good headshot multi, 2-hit kill head, 3-hit kill body to pretty far, and honestly, other than the fact that the recoil feels kind of weird, it's really accurate. It does feel weird, so if you don't like the recoil, this is like a 1 out of 10, don't use it. And yes, you can fix that recoil, but you have to use something that basically makes it so you have to use alt aim, which is ballistics tracker and sideways grip, which lowers the recoil to pretty much non-existence. However, you have to alt aim it, and I don't like that, because otherwise the 10 recoil is just literally impossible to use. This is another 5 out of 5. It just absolutely destroys some of those other conversions like AUG 2762 and stuff, which I've talked about in the past, and I've said they're all really good, but this is just better. But next up, we have the OTS 126. Now, the OTS 126 is a pretty good carbine. It does have some really nice stats, like a big magazine with a fast reload, but I'm gonna be real, I don't see a ton of reason to use this over the PP Bison at this point. It has a great 4-hit kill range, 3-hit kill up close, 2-hit kill head, and it's pretty decent, but I don't think it's amazing. Yeah, it has a big mag and all, but I don't really get the hype too much for this. It's a really good gun. It's got some great advanced stats, like fast velocity and big magazine and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. It's not top tier in my opinion. But then next up, we have the AK-12C. Now, the AK-12C did get kind of a change. It can now 2-hit kill head up close. However, it does have a slower reload time, which is kind of annoying, but if you use 9mm, it gets its reload time back, and it still has 700 RPM, 2-hit kill head, and decent damage at range, actually a 4-hit kill torso. I'm gonna be real, like, this conversion is nice and all, and the default gun is fine, but I'm gonna be real. Groza 3, Groza 1556 is kind of better. At this point, this is really up there though. Definitely one of the better carbines in the game. 9x39 still has the blazing fast reload of like 1.9 seconds. So I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5. Originally, I was like, wow, this is gonna be so cracked. But then when I saw like AUG 3, Para buff, and like a bunch of other buffs, that kind of just made the guns better. This is not that great. It's pretty good, but it's not great. Next up though, we have the Honey Badger, which as you can see from my setup, I only use as a meme. I don't like this gun. It's not fun for me. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Basically, it's just like generic carbine, kind of high initial recoil, but pretty low recoil overall. 3-hit kill up close with hollow point. I mean, like, long barrel was kind of what made this really great, and now that long barrel is kind of not that great for that particular role of making your min damage range super far. It's fine now, but it's not great. I'll give this one a 4 out of 5 because I feel like it still deserves it. But then next up, we have the K1A. Now, K1A 223 is still very good. K1A hollow point is really good. This gun has kind of fallen out of the meta. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It doesn't have a big mag anymore. It is a 4 to a 6 hit kill, 223 or not, and a 3 to a 7 hit kill with hollow point at 900 RPM. Add velocity, the recoil is strange, but pretty low with 223, not gonna lie. It kind of beams in close range with 223. But I'm gonna be real, this is a Carbine CQC gun that was really good because of the extended mag, but now there's just a lot of PDWs that do it better. Not the worst gun in the game by any means. It's still extremely solid. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It's not like 3 out of 5 material, but it's just not gonna be the best gun in the game, but I feel like it does have some nice stats of just can beam. But then next up we have the SR3M. Now the SR3M, I actually have a full setup on a different loadout because Carbine actually has 2 different setups. Oh, 3. I think you can have 3 classes with Carbine, if not 4. Carbine is like in every class. It's funny because it's not really the most used class in the game. One of the more popular, definitely though. Maybe even like 3rd. But yeah, the SR3M. Now the SR3M and the AS Val are kind of balanced in my opinion, although I kind of just prefer the AS Val. The AS Val has a lower recoil, is very quiet with a suppressor, better 3-hit kill range, 5-hit kill all ranges. This is a 6-hit kill range. I'm not gonna lie, this does have some upsides, but when you really compare it to some of the guns that shoot a little bit slower, it kind of just does what this does a little bit better, except for the RPM. It's not too great, and the fact that if you use extended mag, the reload is like, I don't like the reload. 90 reserve ammo is pretty trash as well. 4 out of 5, still extremely solid, not the best. There's a Carbine that kind of does it better in every way, but we will get to that pretty soon. Then we have the Groza 4. I'm gonna be real, this gun sucks. They finally gave it some pretty needed buffs. Originally, it had a 20-round mag, worse velocity, worse ranges, and it was trash. And now it has a 30-round mag by default with some pretty good stats. It has better velocity, so less annoying draw, slightly better 3-hit kill range now, and it can 2-hit kill head. It has 700 RPM, but when you really think about it, you can get stuff like that from the Groza 1 with better velocity, better pen, better headshot damage, better rate of fire. I'm gonna be real, Groza 1556 destroys this gun, and it's not bad. It's still kind of a laser beam, not gonna lie, and it doesn't have as annoying recoil as the Groza 1, but for me, the Groza 1 recoil is not even a problem. So I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5 because of the Groza 1 being a lower rank and being better. And this is also not even my go-to for integrally suppressed guns because it's kind of loud. It's still really, really loud. The radar isn't the big problem. It's the fact that this gun is still so loud. Like, this guy can tell I'm here because this gun is like... Next up, though, we have the MC51. Now, the MC51 is really good now. If you want an integrally suppressed carbine, this is how it sounds by default. That's pretty quiet. If you use the suppressor and silent, because it has silent, even though it's already this quiet, it will be so quiet no one will ever be able to hear you. If you use oil filter and silent, the casings hitting the ground is actually louder than the gun itself. So yeah, if you want an integrally suppressed carbine, this is great. It doesn't shoot super fast, but it's a 4-hit kill at any range, and a 2-hit kill to the torso, and a 2-hit kill anywhere on the body with hollow point, which is pretty good, because it's still a 5-hit kill low ranges with hollow point. And I'm gonna be real, this is not a long-range gun regardless. So really, really good. The recoil is also just pretty nice. Feels a lot like the AG3, nothing like the G3, but a lot like the AG3. It actually has more RPM now than the G3 and AG3. However, if you use long barrel, it will increase your 2-hit kill torso range, but lower your rate of fire, which is definitely worth it because 40 stud 2-hit kill range is not bad for the RPM and stuff. So I will be giving this one a 5 out of 5 because yes, it's not necessarily the best for all ranges, but the fact that like stealth wise, it is amazing. If you're going for stealth, this is the best gun for stealth. But next up though, we have the FAL 50.63 Para. It does have the ability to 2-hit kill with hollow point. The last time I used this gun apparently was that hollow point video from like 4 months ago. So I don't really use this gun anymore, but I have 1400 kills on it. It does have 5.56, which is pretty nice. It has 44 to 23. Yes, it has more recoil than it used to, but I'm gonna be real, this gun is not that inaccurate. It actually has a lower default recoil than the FAL 50, but it also has a full stock for some reason. I gotta put on compensator, man, because that recoil... Okay, this is better. It also reloads faster and actually has better hits to kill and still has 44 max, while the FAL 50 I think has 40 max now, so 4 more damage, allowing it to kill with 1 limb and 1 head, which is pretty cracked, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just killed that guy with 2 shots because 1 limb and 1 head, which you can't do on the FAL 50. Faster reload for close range, better recoil. I'm gonna be real, this gun at this point might be better than the FAL 50 because the FAL 50 used to be able to 3-hit kill torso ranges. This is a 5-hit kill and a 4-hit kill torso. FAL 50 is still a 4-hit kill ranges, but lower recoil, faster reload. This is better. It's a 5 out of 5. Really on par with the FAL 50, if not better now. The FALs are still extremely good. They're top tier if you want high damage and high RPM. They really shouldn't have this kind of recoil. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they're accurate at all. In real life, they don't use FALs on auto because they're so inaccurate. Next up, though, we have the 1858 Carbine. I'm gonna be real. They ruined what made this gun cool, and before that point, it was never really good at anything in particular. It has a couple of objectively better stats than the Henry 4570. It has a little bit more RPM, a slightly bigger magazine, and a faster reload. Pretty cool, right? However, it has half the torso kill range, and it's just bad. It's just not a good gun. It is just not good at all. Like, there's no reason to use this gun over your average sniper rifle because 40 stud 1-hit kill range, not good, versus 85 or something. And if you use the long barrel, it has awful handling anyway, and really bad recoil that just makes it not even possible to shoot it that fast anyway. So don't use this gun because Henry's just kind of better. It's still pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 because it has some redeeming stuff that make it a little bit better than the Henry in a couple of ways. But since the Henry is better, I can't give it anything higher than that. Henry's a 5 out of 5. This is like, it's alright. It's not bad. It's just not the best. If you ran short barrel, you used to have a 35 stud torso kill range, which wasn't that great, but you had fan fire like the 1858 where you could fire extremely fast, which made it actually pretty nice for close range. Now that's just gone. Like, that was the thing that would have given this at least a 4 out of 5, but it's gone. Overall, it's fine, I guess. Just really not that great. Nice job, buddy. Next up, we have the AK-105. Now, the AK-105 by default is awful. Don't use it. However, if you run bars barrel and 5.56, which I recommend you pre-buy, because honestly, by default, this gun sucks so bad. It is so objectively bad. Basically, statistically, same thing as the Type 88, the default one, except it has more recoil. However, if you run 5.56 and bars barrel, this is arguably better than bars barrel on the AK-103. It's more accurate, and that's about it, but the fact that it's more accurate makes it extremely good, because AK-103, pretty accurate with bars barrel, not gonna lie. This is even more accurate. This is next level accuracy. And an 850 RPM 4 to 5 hit, pretty good. And the problem is AK-103 can run AP because it has a 4 hit kill all ranges. This is a 5 hit kill at range, which is, you know, not the best, but still worth using over the AK-103 if you don't like recoil, because it doesn't really have recoil. So yeah, this is gonna get a 5 out of 5. Personally, I like the AK-103 bars barrel more because of the 4 hit, but this is, yeah, like, it's good. Oh my, that's the entire enemy team. Respectfully. Next up, we have the Jury. Jury has some interesting conversions. It does have exotic slugs and stuff, but I'm gonna be real, it's not great. It is really not that great at all. It can one-hit kill head all ranges, but has some pretty awful recovery speed and can't torso kill at all, and also you have to single load now, which is kind of annoying unless you're using speed loader, and then it has the worst reload time ever. I hate speed loader. Exotic slugs is pretty cool. You can one-hit kill to the body, but kind of awful, like, spread. Like, the spread is really not good at all. And I'm gonna be real, overall, not a fan of this gun. It's fine, I guess. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 because exotic slugs are actually pretty nice. It's the only primary weapon in the game to have exotic slugs. The only other gun in the game to have it is the M79, which only has 1 bullet, so. But yeah, 3 out of 5. Next up, we have the CAC SRR. It's not the most amazing gun in the game, except it has 400 RPM and can one-hit kill to the head at any range, which is kind of solid, I'm not gonna lie. It also reloads faster and has faster recovery and way more RPM than the Jury. And I'm gonna be real, this is not only more fun, but kind of better, because with 400 RPM, just like the TCR, you can easily kill a guy with 2 shots in close range if you're pretty good at hitting follow-ups, and you can one-shot at any range. It has some drop, but like not a ton, and with, you know, this much RPM, you can kind of get away with it. So overall, I am going to give this one a 4 out of 5, because this is definitely second best stealthy carbine. MC51 is kind of quieter. However, this actually has the same sound effect as the AWS with silent ammo. Yes, the AWS has silent, and I think this also has silent, so it can be even silenter. It's like OS, but silenter. Basically, just check out this gun. It's not the best, but I think I prefer it over the Jury in like every case. One of the more fun carbines, and if you're like, I want a gun that's kind of different, I want to try something out, it just gives you a very different experience. I'll tell you that right now. But next up, we have the Gyrojet Carbine. I have 100 kills on it, and I was using it and having some fun. But basically, this is like the M107, but low recoil, but kind of worse in most ways. But it has about the same RPM as the M107 at about, I think, 220. It can torso kill at long range, one-hit kill to the head at any range, and, you know, has no recoil. The problem with it is that it has a lot of drop and a lot of spread. Not a ton of spread, but it has spread, which is annoying. What I mean by spread is it has choke. Choke is this funny feature where your bullet doesn't actually go straight. It has this RNG which tells it, hey, I'm gonna go over here this time, and hey, I'm gonna go over here this time, which is pretty inconvenient. So if you don't want that, use the M107. The M107 has like triple the velocity and no choke, but this fires a little bit faster and is capable of firing at maximum RPM because, yeah, it has no recoil. Now, I'm gonna be completely real. This is a 5 out of 5. If you're extremely good with this, this is honestly the best long-range gun in the game. It can one-shot torso at long range, which is just kind of ridiculous for the RPM and everything, because one shot to the body. Think about it. One shot to the body at this rate of fire. Next up, we have the X95R. The default gun is very good. It fires very fast, but personally, I love this gun with 300. It is objectively busted beyond belief now. 3-hit kill up close, 2-hit kill head up close, 850 RPM, 150 reserve, so just extra reserve. Very accurate recoil, and yes, it does do 19 min, so that is a 6-hit kill. However, it has this funny thing called a torso multiplier, so it can actually 5-hit kill at range. That's fun. So objectively, in every way, it's just better than the M4A1. There's like not a single reason to use the M4A1, except for maybe slightly faster reload. This has a 2-hit kill head, a better 3-hit kill range, a 5-hit kill at range, more RPM, more reserve ammo. The default gun is also extremely powerful, and it actually has like a G36 conversion. But the funny thing is, the G36, it got a nerf. It doesn't 4-hit kill at range now. This, on the other hand, 4-hit kills at all ranges with 5.56, which I don't even recommend because because just use 300. This is easily a 5 out of 5. It has 3 5 out of 5 ammo types, and honestly, the recoil buff was probably not needed. The default gun could have gotten better recoil, but not the other conversions. The other conversions were already really good. I always thought 300 conversion was great, and now it's just best carbine in the game, hands down. Honestly, this might be better than C782, 762. But last up, we have the HK51B. The HK51B now has a squad barrel, which is kind of cool. This gun is strange. I could even give it a 5 out of 5, but I'm gonna be real, it's not great. The drop is kind of horrible. It's like Mac 10 drop. It drops from 41 to 22 and about 70 studs, which is pretty bad, and it also starts dropping at 20 studs, so you won't even be able to 3-hit kill that far at all. Doesn't have any special multipliers, but it still has almost 1000 RPM and 100 rounds, so yeah, the recoil is awful, but up close this absolutely destroys everything because yeah, you can just shoot 100 rounds, so it doesn't really matter too much. This is a 4 out of 5. It could be a 5 out of 5, but here's the thing, its performance drops in about the same range that its ranges drops, like maybe 100 studs. Impossible. You will not consistently or maybe even get kills at all at that range. Like, it falls off. Okay, still good. Wow, those guys must have been weak or something. And yes, the recoil is like super RNG, so you might be able to just randomly hit a guy a bunch of times in a row, which would be pretty cool, not gonna lie, but it's bad at range, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. But up close, this is honestly, if you're bad, like the best gun you can use. It's up there with auto shotguns, the PPSH, maybe even better than the PPSH, because the recoil just makes it so you just kind of aim at a guy and then they die. Let's start it off with the Colt LMG, which honestly might be the best one in the game at this point. Like, basically they added 20 tac to it, which if you guys didn't know, 2545 is an attachment on a lot of M16 variants. Basically what it gives you is a smaller magazine and less reserve ammo. However, it gives you a faster reload, walk speed, aiming speed, penetration depth, headshot multiplier, damage ranges, velocity. Basically just makes your gun better in every way. 20 tact is kind of like that, but it doesn't give you better ranges, but still it gives you everything else and it gives you more pen. So basically what I'm trying to say here is this, I don't know if it should be in the game, not gonna lie, like, it is extremely busted. It can 2-hit kill head to like 80 studs, 3-hit kill body to like 80 studs, reloads extremely fast, and like, well, it has 30 bullets, but like, it reloads faster than like AUGs. AUGs have 30 bullets, I don't know. I don't see why it needs to reload that fast. I'm gonna be real, this is like best LMG possibly in the entire game at this point, except for one, which I would say in my opinion is better, but like, you could say that this one is better than the one later on this list. So I'm gonna give this one easily a 5 out of 5. The default gun is really good too. 60 round magazine, 180 reserve. The only problem is it's slightly worse in every way to this conversion, but like, still really, really good. This conversion is so busted right now. Probably one of the best guns from the newest update to the game. The rank 0 gun. Just pre-buy the ammo type. Next up, we have the M60 though. The M60 is nowhere near as good as it used to be. It has slower RPM. It has worse damage, worse recoil. I'm gonna be real, it's not amazing. However, it has 100 rounds and it's still pretty accurate, so that is a pretty nice feature about it, and it still does pretty good close range damage. It's a 4-hit kill maybe, sometimes a 5-hit kill at range, which is not amazing, you know. Can't go wrong with 100 rounds and pretty low recoil. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It shoots pretty slow, but yeah, it's still really accurate. It's not the best gun in the game. It's not the worst gun in the game by any means. An extremely solid 4 out of 5. I don't think I could give this less than a 4 out of 5. Like, it's got so many good stats. Great pen, really good damage up close, which holds up really well. 2-hit kill head, 3-hit kill body to like 100 studs. Colt LMG, I'm gonna be real, is better, but this still has 100 bullets. So you can do that with it. If you can get a reload off every once in a while, this gun is basically just limitless bullets. So next up, we have the AUG H-bar. Now, the AUG H-bar has gotten probably as many, if not more, nerfs than the M60. Got more recoil, and then it got worse damage. Honestly, that's kind of about it, to be honest. It's still super accurate. It doesn't do great damage. A 4 to 5 hit, which is fine, I guess, but like a 4-hit kill with 650 RPM. Usually you can expect from that RPM at least a decent possibility for a 3-hit, and kind of does, but to be real, you gotta run 223, and then it has like that recoil. So if you want a no recoil gun, this is probably your gun. I like the Scar Hammer a little bit more because Scar Hammer does have the opportunity to 3-hit kill to the body, but I'm gonna be real, this is a 5 out of 5 gun. It has a lower recoil than the Scar Hammer. Give or take, the 3-hit kill up close has about the same damage. Used to have a torso multi, used to have better ranges, still extremely good. Next up, we have the MG36. Now, the MG36 does run 223 as well pretty well with 100 more RPM, so you can actually 4-hit kill and be completely happy with that. However, it also has 3 300. 300 used to be a direct upgrade, giving it a 3-hit kill up close and still a 5-hit kill at range. Now it gives you a 60-round drum, which is fine, but kind of give or take a worse version of the Colt LMG. And you can also run 223 for pretty low recoil and 100 bullets, which is pretty nice. And the reload time is pretty fast for 100 rounds. It's just over half the time of the M60, and as you can see, it kind of beams. Not amazing recoil, but like it's enough to completely beam people with 223 at range and 100 rounds, so can't really go too wrong with this. 300 conversion was what made it like a 5 out of 5 for me. Triple suppression, still had 100 rounds, 3-hit kill up close. This is still good. It's still a 4 out of 5 gun. It's still like up there with LMGs. You could say it's like the worst one in the game, but I don't really agree with that. I'd say the M60 might be even worse. It's kind of tied with the M60. M60 does far more damage, so I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5. Really what made it great was that 3-hit kill with 100 rounds, but you can still run 223 and get the low recoil, 5-hit kill ranges, 750 RPM. All gauge bar is overall going to do you better because just no recoil at all. This has a bit of recoil, so yeah. So does this. There we go. Next up, though, we have the RPK-12, which it has low recoil, not the best damage, a little bit more RPM than the all gauge bar, but higher recoil, and it does have a 1000 RPM hyperburst, which does have quite a bit of recoil, but fires extremely fast. I'll be completely honest, I was never a huge fan of this gun, but I respected what it did. Now that it reloads pretty slow again, the hyperburst has weird recoil and still has a little bit of a delay. You have to kind of time it right to get the hyperburst. This is going to be a 4 out of 5 for me. You could give it a 5 out of 5. The recoil is just kind of strange. Default RPM and damage are just kind of like I feel like MG36 almost does it better with kind of comparable recoil. Yes, a little bit more, but 100 rounds and more RPM in auto, and this gun is nowhere near as strong as it used to be. So 4 out of 5 is still really good. I don't know if I'm going to give any LMG a 3 out of 5, except maybe 1. Next up, though, we have the L86. So a while ago, they started adding extended magazines with 223 Remington. Then they realized how broken it was to just get a bigger magazine and lower recoil. So they removed it on every single gun, except for some reason this one. This one goes from a 30-round magazine to a 50-round drum and gets a lower recoil. And that's why the L86 is arguably the best LMG. They did give it a nerf in the last update, but for some reason they didn't just remove the extended mag, which was arguably one of the biggest problems of it. It used to just be kind of an objectively worse version of the Scar Hammer, but then they nerfed the Scar Hammer, but didn't really nerf this, and this became the best LMG. But now it doesn't have a torso multi, so it can't 3-hit kill up close to the body, but it still has no recoil and a 50-round drum. So I am going to be giving this one a 5 out of 5. Not nearly as good as it used to be, but it's still top tier. Still competes for number 1. I always like the Scar Hammer a little bit more. And honestly, the Scar Hammer and this are kind of tied now because the Scar Hammer does have the 3-hit kill. Yes, not as far, and yes, it doesn't have a 4-hit kill low ranges, but this doesn't either. And this does fire a little bit slower, but has like no recoil. Next up, we have the RPK. It did get a nerf in the past update. That does a little bit less headshot damage. However, it didn't get worse recoil like the AK-47 did. So this is actually just a big mag AK-47 with less recoil and more min damage, which is kind of cracked. It can 3-hit kill if one shot is a headshot, which is pretty nice, not gonna lie. 600 RPM, great damage up close. Not an amazing 2-hit kill capability, but a very easy 3-hit kill at close to medium range. I think it's like a 150 stud 3-hit kill range or something. Very, very far. It only has a 40-round magazine. It used to have a 45. It's like a shadow nerf too. Like they never even told anybody about it. And I was like, what? It has 40 rounds now? But yeah. It's still gonna be a 5 out of 5 for me. I'm not gonna lie. I like it way more than the RPK-12. And at this point, the RPK-12, yeah, it shoots a little bit faster, but it just does way worse damage. It does like 32 to 22 or something. So this does literally the same min as the RPK-12's max. So at like 500 studs, it does the same damage. And at close range to medium range, it does literally 10 more. So use this gun. It is really, really good. Next up, though, we have the HK-21, which the HK-21, what is that guy doing? My man was desyncing so hard. This gun has recoil. It has 800 RPM though, and 3 hit kills and 2 hit kills head to a very far range. It got a huge nerf in the past update where it got worse min damage, worse max damage, worse recoil, and worse ranges, and worse velocity, and worse pens. Basically, it just got an overall huge nerf in every category. However, this is still the HK-21, so honestly, I'm still gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because yes, it doesn't do as good damage, yes, it has worse ranges, and yes, I think it can be a 5-hit kill at this point at range, which is pretty nice, but I'm gonna be real, still a 5 out of 5. Like, you can't really keep what makes this good without making it broken because it shoots battle rifle bullets and has 800 RPM, but has 100 bullets. It's pretty difficult to make it balanced by any means. Next up, though, we have the Scar Hammer, which unlike the other LMG nerfs, this kind of kept the same things that made it good. The 3-hit kill torso, it does doesn't 4-hit kill all ranges, but it still has about the same recoil it used to. Overall, it's worse, but it's still really good. It still might be my favorite of those few guns, the LMG and that. So I'll give it a 5 out of 5. 50 round drum, pretty fast reload for that, 200 reserve ammo, 3-hit kill torso, which not even the LMG can do that, and a little bit more RPM than the LMG. Still extremely low recoil. This is still top tier, still a 5 out of 5. 9mm got a little bit of a nerf, but 9mm is still really good. Basically what they did was they nerfed long barrel, and they also made it not increase your reload speed, because yes, 9mm conversion, which gave you 100 more RPM, and a 100 round drum increased your reload speed. Yes, you reloaded faster, but you had 100 bullets. Why would it double your magazine capacity and make you reload faster? Regardless, it doesn't change it now, so it doesn't reload extremely fast anymore, which is cool. Still a 5 out of 5 with both 9mm and default. But then next up, we have the RPK-74. Now, the RPK-74, in my opinion, this is the best LMG in the entire game. Same RPM as the Scar Hammer. Honestly, it can have lower recoil, but it can 2-hit kill head and 3-hit kill limb to farther ranges than Scar Hammer can even 3-hit kill torso, while doing more minimum damage and having overall about the same stats. I think a faster reload time, but more min damage, but it doesn't have a torso multi, but it doesn't really matter because it can 4-hit kill with one headshot at any range. And honestly, hitting one headshot is not that hard. It doesn't really have too much recoil. So yeah, this is easily going to be a 5 out of 5. Honestly, it's the best LMG in the game. There are reasons to use the other LMGs over it. Scar Hammer has, you know, 9mm and a bigger magazine and stuff, and by default probably a little bit less recoil. L86, you know, it has no recoil and faster velocity. MG36 does have a bigger magazine, but I'm gonna be real, like, just use this over that. And the Colt LMG fires faster and has about the same hits to kill but worse hits to kill ranges, and a faster reload but a smaller magazine. So that's why the Colt LMG is actually kind of tied with this, but I'm gonna be real, this is better. I just like to say Colt LMG is tied because, you know, I want to be nice. The Colt LMG with 20 tact is broken, but this is even more broken. So yeah, this is going to get an easy best LMG in the game. If you have it, use it. If you don't, maybe pre-buy it. Honestly, I haven't heard anything about nerfing it just yet. I'm assuming it's going to eventually get a nerf, but who knows. At this point, and for a while, it will probably be the best LMG in the game. It might honestly nerf Romanian grip, but honestly, in my opinion, even before Romanian grip was good, I was using Stubby on this, and I was like, this is really, really good. You should probably use this anyway. But last, we have the MG3. Now, the MG3 is strange. I almost want to give it a 3 out of 5 because it's definitely going to be the worst LMG in the game, because it has a 6.8 and a 7.1 second reload time, which is really bad because it has 50 bullets, which is almost the smallest in class, however has the highest fire rate, which means that doesn't really mesh well together too well. Don't use heavy bolt because it sucks with heavy bolt. There's no reason to use it with that, because the thing about it is that 1000 RPM and pretty decent recoil. I think I should give this one a 4 out of 5. It does have 1000 RPM, a 3-hit kill and 2-hit kill head pretty far, pretty low recoil for that. Kind of eviscerates people like no other gun can really do. Yes, it is really good at one thing, but if you're good, this is probably the worst LMG for like actually getting a lot of kills, because magazine goes out really, really fast and it reloads super slow, so you're gonna have to like reload half the time you're playing, which means you're just not gonna get as many kills. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 because of that. Definitely not a 2. It has some redeeming stuff, which does make it a 3. However, it is the worst LMG in the game, in my opinion. Yes, it does eviscerate people, and if you're good with it, which it's not even that hard to be good with it, you can make the recoil non-existent, which is pretty cool. The M9 is not a bad gun by any means. It has a lot of reserve ammo, pretty decent magazine capacity. It has a nice stock to lower the kind of annoying rotational recoil. 3 kill to the body, 2-hit kill to the head. It's pretty good. However, there is just one major problem, and that is that the Glock exists. The Glock 17 is just better. I'm gonna be real. This is not a bad gun by any means, and it has a couple of redeeming stuff that makes it a little bit better than the Glock 17 in a few ways. But since you get it at the same rank as the Glock 17, I don't think you should ever really use this gun, so I will be giving it a 2 out of 5, kind of one of the lowest scores I've given here, because when there's a gun that doesn't have a ton of reasons to be used, not really a ton of reasons for me to recommend it. It does 1 more damage than the Glock up close, but has the same hits to kill because of multis, and also has worse recoil, a little bit more velocity though. But yeah, just smaller mag, more recoil. They were actually going to remove the extra velocity, which I was like, why are you removing that? Please add that back, because this is the only reason. The M9 is okay. Next up, we have the Glock 17, which, as you know, it's just the M9 but no recoil. It has the same hits to kill, actually a better min damage range, a little bit less velocity, which is not a huge problem because it's a literal pistol. Same RPM, basically the same damage, same min damage, 1 less max, but like I said, doesn't matter. And yeah, just bigger magazine and less recoil. I'm gonna be real, really good pistol. If you have a good trigger finger, I don't. That's why I struggle with these kind of pistols. That's why I don't really use them too much, is because if you're good at like clicking fast, they are good, and they're not bad even if you're not good at clicking fast. 780 RPM, you can get like you know, really fast RPM. That's not even close to what you can get. You can get literally M4A1 RPM, but a 2-hit kill head, which makes it theoretically better than the M4A1. This is an overall 4 out of 5 pistol. I don't think it's a 5 out of 5 because it used to have 50 GI, which just made it amazing, but it's a really good overall pistol, and a 4 to 5 seems pretty good. But then next up we have the 1911, which does 48 in close range and is still a 4-hit kill at long range. So it's a 2-hit kill head, like a 3-hit kill to the body. That's just the Glock, but it has the smaller magazine and more recoil. Well, it has a torso multi. If you don't know what that is, if you hit a guy in the freaking body, the big block in the center of it does extra damage, which means it's a 2-shot anyway, because it does about 52 to the torso and 48 to the limbs, which means you can get a 1-limb, 1-torso combo and still get a 2-hit. So hit 1 shot to the big block at the center of the guy and 1 shot anywhere else and it will kill them. Hit 1 shot head, which would be really broken. It's a pretty consistent 2-hit kill. Reloads really fast, has great reserve ammo for how many rounds it has in a mag, and I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. For me, this is actually better than the Glock because you can panic and pull it out and usually 2-hit kill a guy. That's pretty cool. And the RPM is only marginally less than the Glock, which is kind of funny. It only has 60 less. It still has 720 RPM. So if you want to super spam a guy, you can do that in close range. Next up, though, we have the Deagle L5. It can 1-hit kill head pretty far, has pretty low recoil overall, like all things considered, and it can 2-hit kill to the body. It will be a 4-hit kill and a 3-hit kill limit range, but the fact that it can 1-hit kill, it reloads fast, and it still has pretty nice RPM makes it a very good sidearm, basically a pocket DMR, and with extended barrel it just is better, so just use it with extended barrel. The handling is still great and everything, so yeah, this is a really good Deagle. In my opinion, the XIX is better, but this is a lower rank, has double the RPM, and can still 1-hit kill head, so this will be getting a 5 out of 5. In my opinion, the MP412 Rex is it's not better necessarily. This has a faster reload, bigger magazine, but it really does rely on extended barrel to be great. I guess you could say MP412 Rex also kind of needs cowboy barrel to be really good. Yeah, 5 out of 5, really good gun. But next up we have the Glock 21. Glock 21 has a 13 round capacity, smaller than the Glock 17. However, it does actually pack a much greater punch. Same hits to kill up close, however, it can actually 4-hit kill torso at any range, but it requires all 4 torso shots, which you're not usually gonna hit that. I'm not gonna lie, the recoil is pretty low though. For me, this is a tiny bit better than the Glock 17, but still not amazing. Used to be able to 4-hit kill torso way easier, and it's still really good, but I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because for Glocks, it's not really the best. I kind of prefer the 2-hit kill from other pistols, such as the L5 and the 1911. Next up, though, we have the Glock 23. Now, the Glock 23 has kind of similar stats to the Glock 21. However, it has a faster reload time and actually less recoil. I'm going to be real. This is kind of an objective, tiny upgrade to the Glock 17 with really similar recoil, but just packs a little bit more punch, does 2 more damage close and long range, and has a torso multiplier and still the same headshot multiplier, and has a faster reload time, which is nice because, like, yeah, it doesn't have as many bullets, but the reload time is kind of better in a lot of aspects because you have enough bullets to take on a guy, but if you get caught reloading, it's not going to take as long. Yeah, this is going to get a 5 out of 5 from me because for the Glocks, this is second best in my opinion. There's a Glock later that's actually a little bit better. But next up, we have the M45A1. It has a bigger magazine, but fires slower than the 1911. I think it has about the same recoil, and it does have an extended mag for 15 rounds, which is pretty nice. The biggest thing about this is that it requires 2 torso shots to 2-hit kill. So it's not going to 2-hit kill as much, but if you run hollow point, it can 2-hit kill limb, does awful damage at range, but it can 2-hit kill limb to like 50 studs, which can't really hate on that. It won't be a long range gun at all. It will suck at range like it already does because it is not a gun for long range. But yeah, with hollow point for close range, you can run hollow point on 1911, then you'll have a smaller magazine and basically the same gun. So yeah, I am going to give this one a 5 out of 5 as well. For default stuff, the 1911 is kind of better, but for hollow point, this is better. It has a bigger magazine and extended mag. So next up, we have, in my opinion, the best Glock in the game, the Glock 40, which does a bit less damage than the other Glocks in the game in close range. You're like, well, that's 33. Well, it has a torso multi, so it can actually still 3-hit kill to the body if you're hitting torsos, but you only got to hit 1, which is not really that bad at all. And it does 25 min damage, which means you can actually 4-hit kill anywhere, all ranges, which is kind of cracked. It also has a slightly larger default magazine. Here's where it gets actually crazy, though. It has a 1.75 times headshot multi, which allows it to not only 2-hit kill up close, but still do like 40 headshot damage at any range. It's way more than any other Glock except for the Glock 50, but like, we'll talk about the Glock 50 in a second. This and the Glock 23 are the 2 best Glocks in my opinion. This is more of like a DMR Glock. You could literally put a scope on this and it would still be great. With like SL8 hits to kill at range and SKS hits to kill at range, basically. Really cracked gun. I highly recommend you check this out if you didn't like the other Glocks, because this just feels like it packs more of a punch, because it just does. It does pack more of a punch. Overall, maybe the best pistol in the game, in my opinion at least. Easy 5 out of 5. But next up, we have the KG99. Now, the KG99, there's not a ton of reasons to use this. It does fire really fast for a semi-auto pistol, so if you have a great trigger finger, pretty cool. It's a 3 to a 5 hit. It doesn't have a 2-hit kill head, which is annoying. It has a default 20-round magazine. It does have an extended mag for 32, which is actually less than the Glock. And I'm gonna be real, if you like this gun, props to you. It's fine. It's a decent gun. It's alright. I just don't get it. I don't understand why I would ever use this gun. I like the Glock 40 more. I like the Glock 17 more. I like the Glock 23 more. I like the M9 more even. And yes, this isn't a direct upgrade or downgrade to any other gun in particular, but I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. Higher than the M9 because, like I said, it's not a direct upgrade or downgrade of any other gun in the game. To be real, it's not great. Next up, though, we have the Glock 50. Now, the Glock 50 is capable of 2-hitting to the torso in close range, which is pretty cool. We're actually going to not add that feature. When they first added the Glock 50, I was like, what the heck? You removed Glock 17 50 GI, and then you added a awful version of it that can't even 2-hit, and I was pretty mad about that. They did add it. However, the Glock 50 is not that great. It fires slower than the other Glocks, which is not really a problem because this is with a stock that really helps the recoil. It's not that great. That will fall off pretty hard at longer ranges, as you can see. And yes, it is a 2-hit kill to the torso with 2 torsos, which is just the M1911. Actually worse than the M1911 and worse than the M45A1. It has a smaller magazine than the M45A1. I'm gonna be completely honest, this has awful velocity. The min damage is fine. It's a 4-hit kill torso. So what's the really big upside of this gun, I guess? Probably most importantly, it does big headshot damage. It has a 2 times headshot multiplier, which means it does 90 headshot up close, which is not bad. That's like the only thing that I can think of that is like really kind of special about it. And yes, it does fire decently fast. 1911 fires faster actually, but I'm gonna be real, definitely nowhere near as good as the old Glock 17 50 GI, but it's not bad. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. 1911 and M45A1 are just, I'm gonna be real, they're kind of just better. They have less drop even. That means velocity and damage wise, like they do more damage at range and they have more velocity, so kind of weird. Definitely not the worst pistol in the game. Can't really use it for long range too well, unlike the Glock 40, which you can kind of spray. And keep in mind, this is with the stock, which fixes the recoil by so much, like use the stock. I should mention this does have G-switch, which does give it automatic, but a pretty trash 2-hit kill range. It doesn't really shoot fast at all, and it's kind of just a shell of the former Glock 18 50 GI. And next up, we have the 5.7. In my last pistol ranking video from like a year ago, I actually gave this one second best in the game, and like 50 pistols have been added since then, so I don't really feel like it's second best. It's up there, and for a lot of purposes, it is the best pistol in the game, depending on how you use it. However, the Glock 40 is kind of this, but better. Here's the thing about this that made it pretty nice, right? It had 800 RPM, default 20-round mag, which, you know, it has those. It had an extended mag for 30 rounds, which is pretty decent. And it could 4-hit kill to the body, but 3-hit kill to the torso, right? And it could also 4-hit kill torso all ranges and had pretty high velocity and pen. Those things are still nice. However, the Glock 40 is a 4-hit kill to the limbs, has a 30-round extended mag as well, has honestly just less annoying recoil, doesn't go to the right like this one's does. Yes, it has less pen, I think. However, more min and requires less torso shots because this is a 3-hit kill with all torsos. If you had a single hit to the limbs, it will be a 4-hit, which is kind of atrocious for close range, not gonna lie. But this does fire a little bit faster, but it just doesn't do as good damage. So yeah, it is kind of tied with the Glock 40, I would say. In my opinion, the Glock 40 is just better. It does have a couple of upsides over the Glock 40, and I still feel like it's one of my favorite pistols in the game. I really like it in games like CSGO. It doesn't have a 2-hit kill head. The Glock 40 does have that, but maybe I'm biased. Maybe I gave it second best like a year ago, and now I still want to give it a pretty good score, but I will be giving this one a 5 out of 5. Next up, though, we have the Zip 22. Now, the Zip 22, doesn't even need an introduction. It is the weakest pistol, almost the weakest gun in the entire game. I think for close range, it might have the lowest damage per shot. It can 3-hit kill head at any range, which is kind of cool, but so can the Glock 40, and the Glock 40 is a 3-hit, and this is like a 7-hit to the body. This gun sucks. This gun is not good. Like, don't even tell me it's good. It does have a couple of redeeming qualities, which is that it has extremely low recoil, a 50-round drum, which is the only thing that makes it okay, because you can shoot for ages, and also good headshot damage, but like, there are guns that do more headshot damage, and because they reload fast, it doesn't really matter how many rounds it has. Like, this bad gun. I will be giving this one a 2 out of 5. The reason that both the M9 and this got a 2 out of 5, the M9 is way better, but the M9 just exists, and it's called the Glock 17, it's better. This has some stuff, but it's bad. It's just a bad gun. Don't use it unless it's a meme, because if you're using it for a meme, I'm completely fine with that, but don't even try to tell me that this is a good gun. Next up, we have the G1M1. Now, the G1M1, you'd think on paper that it's better than the 1911. It can one-shot headshot in close range, has a little bit less bullets in a mag, but can 3-hit kill torso at any range. However, it has a lot of drop, worse velocity than the other pistols in the game, and also it just has kind of bad recoil. I'm gonna be real, like, this is the max RPM you can really get because it has a lot of recoil. It's more of like a tapping gun, and if you're good at tapping people, it's not too bad. I'm gonna be real, if you're like incredibly cracked, honestly, this might be one of the best pistols to use. So I will be giving it a 5 out of 5 because I feel like it's got some stuff. And yeah, the recoil is a huge downside of it. But this is really fun because it takes serious trigger control. As you can see, the amount of different RPMs I'm firing this gun at to be effective with it, because you can't be effective doing that all the time because it has that recoil. So you gotta, like, you know, you can see I'm actually using the different RPMs of this gun to be effective with it, which is really fun. But next up, we have the hardballer. Now, the hardballer, I'm gonna be real, use the G1M1. They give this actually pretty nice recovery speed, and it can 3-hit kill to the limbs at any range, which is kind of cracked. The recoil still kind of sucks. It can't even 2-hit kill limb. It can, I think, with torsos, but I think it has to be 2. Maybe not even that. I don't know. Regardless, it's fine. It's good for tap firing at range, but like, there are better ranged guns. I'm gonna be real. Honestly, because of recoil and everything, I'm gonna say I probably just prefer, surprisingly, to use the Glock 40, which does a lot less damage, but, you know, it fires faster, it has better recoil and everything. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It feels like a very, not well-rounded, but the niche for it is really well thought out. Or yeah, it doesn't do amazing close range damage, but 3-hit kill all ranges makes it not bad. Like, it's a really decent all-range pistol. Next up, though, we have the suppressed Makarov. I'm gonna stop trying to say it. I don't know how to say this name. I don't think I should give this one like a 2 or a 1 out of 5, but I'm gonna be real, this has never really been that great. It had a niche before, which is that big headshot damage, so it could kill with 1 limb and 1 head, which is pretty cool for 2 hits, but like, they're just guns that do more damage in the pistol category now and perform better at range. The only reason that this is gonna get any kind of score from me is that it has the extended magazine. I don't know why it's called magazine, because it's a drum mag. Regardless, it has a drum, which is pretty cool. 80 rounds, but you don't get any reserve ammo. It's not the best gun in the game because you may as well just reload, but if you don't want to reload, this is really good for that. I don't like it more than the Makarov. I think I'm gonna give it a 3. But next up, we have the Makarov. Now, the Makarov, for some reason, has a slower muzzle velocity than the suppressed version, which is not normal. It also has the extended magazine. However, it does less damage, has a bit more recoil, and has way less headshot multi. It means it's not really gonna get that same kind of combo of 1 head, 1 limb. So, like, the niche is kind of gone. Yeah, it has the extended mag, and it does more damage at long range, but I'm gonna be real. They buffed the suppressed version, and got it better. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 5 because it has a little bit of redeemable stuff, mostly just like better ranged performance. But yeah, I mean, it has the extended mag, but so does the suppressed version. Next up, we have the GB22. Now, default GB22, I'm gonna be real, it's gonna get a 1 out of 5, but this is the GB50 conversion, which has a new fire sound, I think. Only has 1 bullet, however, it can 1-hit kill to the torso to a pretty decent range, and 1-hit kill to the head at any range. It's gonna be like a 2 to a 3 hit to the body, and honestly, wow, the ranges are weird. It's kind of a meme gun, but the 1-hit kill head all ranges, and if you're very good at hitting heads, 10 mil is busted because long barrel and 10 mil has really good velocity for hitting heads at any range. And if you're not that great, you also got 50 Action Express for that 1-hit kill to the torso in close range, and the 1-hit kill head at any range, which, you know, it's not too bad. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 because if you're really, really good, you can actually take advantage of a better torso kill range than most of the other kind of secondary 1-hit kill torso guns, like get a 1-hit kill to the head at any range. And the reload time is extremely fast as well. The default gun is like a 1 out of 10, but like, this is not a bad gun. What even was that for a torso kill? I'm gonna be real, like, yeah, it's not a 5 out of 5 because it doesn't have a magazine or anything, and it doesn't have a ton of reserve because you'll just run out really fast, but when you take into account that it has a really nice, at least I think 70 stud torso kill range. Wait, no, it's at least an 80 stud. What? Like farther than sniper rifles. What? Yeah, it's still a 4 out of 5 because of that fact that it has 1 bullet, but still pretty good. That was just outside of the torso kill range though. That's 88 studs, so yeah. But next up, we have the XIX. The Deagle XIX doesn't headshot kill all ranges, but it headshot kills extremely far. It can kill with 2 torsos at any range, and it has a magazine, and it shoots pretty fast. It can kill with 1 body shot, as you can see. It's just going to outperform the GB50 because it has a magazine with actually 8 rounds, and it can still 1-hit kill. It even has extended barrel, which will give you a better torso kill range, a better headshot kill range, better velocity. It has absolutely absolutely awful handling with that, so I don't use it. And it also has a police barrel, which will give you a very far, like almost 200 stud headshot kill range, but a worse torso kill range. I just use default, it has a 40 stud torso kill range, 200 RPM, you know, it's really, really good. As you can see, it's my main pistol. I have like 2,300 kills on it or something stupid because I just use it passively all the time, because if you want to run a pistol, this is like the best thing to use. Pretty easy 5 out of 5, I'm not gonna lie. I would say the best pistol in the game, but there is a second pistol that can actually be comparatively better because it has a way better headshot kill range and more RPM. It's the AM3. Now the AM3 is kind of cracked. It does alright damage to the body. It's a 2-hit kill and it doesn't shoot amazingly fast or anything, but it has like a 140 stud 1-hit kill head range and great velocity, and that plus the faster RPM means that basically you can tap people down pretty far. Better than the police barrel, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't have the 1-hit kill torso, but like as you can see, if you're hitting heads, this is amazing. Literally a pocket one-shot DMR. I'd say overall, because it doesn't one-hit kill to the body, wow, that it isn't quite as good as the XIX, but I'm gonna be real, like, if you want the one-hit kill head, like, this is the best thing in the entire game for that. And yes, even better than that one headshot killing gun from before. It also does 82 torso, which is not bad. Then we have the Gyrojet Mark 1. This is objectively worse to that good old Gyrojet carbine in, like, every way. However, it's a secondary, so does it really matter that much? I don't know. You can one-hit kill head at any range, and one hit kill torso past like 200 studs or something. It has like 200 RPM. Really, really good. Lots of drop, however, and it has bloom like a shotgun, so you won't always shoot in the same spot. It has a lot of drop as well, but one hit kill torso at any range, past a certain range, which is a little bit broken, not gonna lie. There are some major downsides to it, of course, which is 1000 velocity is awful. It has bloom, so it just has like inconsistent accuracy. But I'm gonna be real, I know people love the AM3, but I feel like this is just kind of better, at least for me. Like, I can actually, as you can see, hit my shots. I don't know why. Like, it should be the same as the AM3, but except for like that bloom, I can actually like hit my shots. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. It easily should be. Objectively, it's like the best pistol in the entire game. In fact, it's probably better than most primary snipers when you think about it. With 200 RPM and it can body shot at any range. It's literally better than like any sniper rifle that isn't like the M107. It has some huge downsides, of course. It can't one-shot to the torso in close range. Doesn't shoot too fast. Has awful drop, as I've said multiple times, because you need to know that. Like, it is bad, dude. Then we have the GSP. It can one-hit kill head to pretty far, 70 studs or something. It's semi-auto, so it's like, it's better than the AM3 because, well, the AM3 is semi-auto as well, but like, this has 450 RPM instead of 280. So you're like, okay, well, it fires faster. It just doesn't headshot kill as far, and it does okay body damage, like a 3-hit kill torso. And yeah, it has the 1-hit kill head, but I'm gonna be real. If you want a generic pistol experience, don't use this gun. It's not good for that. And if you want like a high-rank pistol experience with that one-shot headshot and stuff, the M3 just does it better. Yes, this does fire a lot faster, so if you're not great, you can make up for the fact that you can't hit heads. However, it just doesn't one-hit kill head as far, and I'm gonna be real, only 5 rounds and stuff, and you'll just shoot them really fast, and it doesn't do anywhere near as good body damage. So like the M3 just does what this does, but better. So I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5, but it is still extremely good. Just in my opinion, there is a better one-hit kill head range gun, but if you want the higher RPM, so you can kind of make up for trash aim at times, that's pretty good. Then you have the Grizzly. The Grizzly is not bad. It sounds amazing. I love the sound effect, and it fires significantly faster than the XIX, but it has a worse torso kill range, worse damage at range, and it's kind of just worse than the XIX in my opinion. But it does have some redeeming stuff, like the higher RPM is basically the only thing, but that is pretty nice to have. So I will be giving this one, honestly, a 5 out of 5. Like, I don't think I should give it anything less, because any torso killing semi-auto pistol is going to be a 5 out of 5. It doesn't even matter like what kind of stats it has. It's a one-hit kill torso pistol. Like, it can't be bad. If you guys want to see a comparison between the Grizzly and the XIX, maybe the Executioner as well, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, comment down below if you want to see that. Next up though, we have the M2011. Now the M2011 kind of is like the GSP. Yeah, it's not exactly the same. It can't one-shot headshot. It does 32 to the body with a torso multi, so it can 3-hit kill torso. However, it has 20 rounds, no recoil, and an extremely fast reload time, which just eviscerates everything, because in a fight where you have to reload, this has a 1.6 second reload. That's faster than like the M4A1. Even with like 25-45, I think that's the same reload time. Like, that is ridiculous, dude. Not the best body damage, but really good headshot damage and really good recoil. I'm gonna be real. this is a 5 out of 5 pistol. It's not necessarily like the best pistol in the game or anything, but if you're hitting your headshots, just not even that hard to hit them, it's going to be a pretty consistent 2-hit kill. It kind of does what the suppressed Makarov does, but better. If you're not hitting your headshots, you'll probably lose to something like the 1911 or the G1M1, which will be able to one-shot you. Even the GSP might beat you if you're not good at hitting follow-up shots, but GSP has got 5 bullets. Next up, though, we have the Alien. Now, the Alien does like 97 head or something, but it can't one-shot headshot. It does have pretty weird but low recoil and a 17-round magazine. However, it's kind of just worse than the M2011. I don't know why you would use this. You get it at a higher rank. It has a smaller magazine, a slower reload time, basically the same hits to kill, and it falls off super hard at range. It does 16 versus 19 min. It does have a torso multi, which means it might not always be a 7-hit kill at range, but if you're hitting headshots, it's not going to be too bad, but the drop is kind of worse than the M2011 by quite a bit. I'm going to be real, I don't know why you would really use this gun. It has a 0.5 second slower reload time than the M2011, slower RPM. I guess it can 3-hit kill limb, so this one will be getting a 4 out of 5. Not a huge fan of it. It's alright though. Next up though, we have the AF2011. Now the AF2011, it is 2 1911s put together, so lots of recoil, but it can one-shot headshot up close. And I'm gonna be real, this gun used to be so busted beyond belief. It did 42 maximum damage, and I discovered since it fires 2 bullets in basically the same spot, it was basically a 1-hit kill limb in close range because it did 50 damage per bullet and fired both in exactly the same spot, as you can see. That was very, very broken. They did fix it, and it's fine now. It isn't amazing. I feel like the G1M1 kind of does it better. It preserves damage better since it will always, like, hit its one shot. This does have some spread to it and weird recoil. I do like how it is a very high rank. It feels like a very high rank gun that's just kind of ridiculous and not going to be everybody's main pistol. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. XIX is going to be better. Before, I would have said this was better than the XIX because of funny hollow point combo, and as you can see at that range, wasn't even a one-shot head, which is not that great, but as you can see from there, if you're in this kind of range, it will eviscerate. But last up, we have, of course, the Boxy Buster. I will include this in the list because it is a pistol. However, you have to buy the Nerf gun, so not a lot of people have this. I will let you guys know, if you guys want your own Boxy Buster, I do give away Boxy Busters every once in a while on my Discord. I gave away, I think, like 6 at this point. Yeah, join my Discord server if you want that. But basically, Boxy Buster is like the M1911 darts conversion, which I forgot to mention, mostly because it sucks. The dart conversion is basically kind of like this, where you only got 1 bullet and it doesn't even one-shot to the torso and has a lot of drop. So default, this gun is like freaking 2 out of 5 or something stupid. Like, it's like nothing. It is non-existent as a gun. However, if you run elite darts, it has even more drop, but it does one-shot to the torso. Basically a worse GB50, because it has 250 velocity instead of 1,500. It literally has like 1/7 of the velocity, and a worse torso kill range, and like the same reload time. Basically, if you want this gun, don't get it because it's good. Get it because you like the gun and you think it's funny, because it's bad. It is not good. So with elite darts, it's like a 2 out of 5, you know. Actually, you know what? No, it's a 1 out of 5 regardless. But for fun factor, it is a 5 out of 5. It's very funny. This guy's really trying to melee me, but I'm M-sliding, so he can't get to me. Oh my god. I want to get one more kill. One more kill. Ooh. Boxy Buster, what do we want? Hey, that is toxic. Can I freaking vote kick this guy? I had to farm 100 kills on this gun, and since you can't pre-buy attachments, I couldn't use elite darts for that entire time because it was when I was going for 100 kills on every gun in the game. And yeah, that was pretty painful. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think this can penetrate glass. Like, if you shoot glass with it, it won't go through. It would just stop on the glass. Yeah, really awful gun. Do not use it because it's good, but as you can see, you can still get some kills with it if you're really close to a guy. Ooh. Oh, got him. Bro, my movement. First off, though, we have the Glock 18C. Now, the Glock 18C has 1,100 RPM. You'll see a lot of fast-firing machine pistols, and this is definitely up there. The problem with that is that it does 30 damage up close, which is a 4-hit. So while it will still kill pretty fast, it does do a little bit less damage than some of the other machine pistols. Let me melee this guy. But it still kills pretty fast. It does have a 6-hit kill now. It used to do 20 min and have a 5-hit kill. Oh, wait, I gotta melee him again. Also, it does a little bit less damage than it used to, and it also doesn't have amazing recoil, as you can see. Like, it used to have like no recoil, now it has quite a bit, but it does have a 33-round extended magazine, kind of like a pocket MP5K type 4 to 6 hit, really fast RPM gun. It kills extremely fast, and I'm not gonna lie, if you don't want to like go through like what's the downside of this one and what's the upside of this one, if you just want an overall pretty good machine pistol, this is really good. I don't think it's top tier necessarily, but it's up there. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because there's not really any reason to not use this gun. It just doesn't have anything super special about it. But next up, we have the 93R. Now, the 93R has the same RPM as the Glock, has the same default capacity, lower overall recoil, and better damage both max and min, being able to 3 kill to 5 hit instead of 4 to 6, which is really, really good. However, it's a burst and it has delay. So here's the thing about this gun, right? It can 3 hit kill, which means it can 1 burst, but not really that far. If you get the delay down, it's not bad in terms of burst delay, but I'm gonna be real. For me, this is probably the worst machine pistol in the game. It used to be the best by far because it used to have less recoil and no delay. So you can actually get this like full RPM. It is still very, very good. It's not super accurate anymore, and it can 1 burst, but not super far. So I will be giving this one a 3 out of 5 because of the fact that it has overall good stats. But if you're going for a machine pistol, you want a panic secondary, not a burst that you have to worry about getting the burst down perfectly. But next up, though, we have the PP2000. Now, the PP2000 is a new machine pistol, and while it doesn't fire super fast, it has 600 RPM. So it has like 400 RPM less than usual. However, it can 3 hit kill body and 2 hit kill to the head. And the 3 hit kill range is pretty good. 50 studs. 3 kill head range is about 45 studs, and it does do pretty good overall damage. It drops off kind of hard at range. It is a 6 hit kill at range. It has actually pretty decent recoil and a 20 round mag, fast reload time, pretty good reserve ammo, especially for a machine pistol. And if you use the magazine stock, which does increase recoil, it will have 120 reserve. Yes, I want. But yeah, 6 mags of reserve ammo with magazine stock is kind of cracked. And if you want a lot of reserve ammo and great ammo consumption rate because it doesn't shoot too fast and good damage, this is very, very good. It's also super accurate. I'm going to be real. This is a 5 out of 5 machine pistol. It's not necessarily the best, but I'm going to be real. In my opinion, it might be the best because honestly, for the RPM and how it fires, I can hit consistent 3 hit kills and even the 2 hit kill head. Some people will say 2 hit kill to the head is kind of overrated, and I can kind of concede that in a lot of cases. But for this gun, that is a 2 hit kill head right there. 2 hits at 600 RPM. That's another one. You can actually get those 2 hits, and it's kind of busted when you do that. So this is a 5 out of 5. I'm going to be real. If you want an overall just good machine pistol, I said the Glock 18 was the best for that, and I still do agree that because this is a very slow firing machine pistol as far as machine pistols go. But yeah, I mean, it's better than the Glock. It doesn't have the same time to kill in some aspects, but it's made up for it by the fact that it's accurate and basically a primary. Next up, though, we have the Tech 9, which used to be second best machine pistol in my opinion. The only thing that was better in my opinion was the 93R. However, this gun kind of sucks now. I'm not gonna lie. It has 1,500 RPM, which is the highest in class, and can have a 32 round extended mag, but it does awful damage. It does 24 damage, which is a 5 hit kill max down to a 6 hit kill, and since long barrel can't even be used on that anymore because long barrel would make it a 6 hit kill maximum, which is just awful. And as you can see, I'm already out of reserve ammo. This is not an awful secondary per se, but it's not a good machine pistol. It's fine. It kills very, very fast, but just not as fast because, you know, it is a 5 hit kill, which means no, it fires super fast. It's not gonna have the best time to kill because it's gonna take more shots to kill a guy, which is really bad, especially with a recoil and the amount of ammo consumption. As you can see, I just can't even use it anymore because I'm out of bullets. It does have one kind of decent thing about it, which is that it is a very good panic secondary. You only get like 2 mags, but yeah, you can at least kill 1 guy with a mag. The PP2000, you can use it as a primary. This, you can't use as a primary. The thing about it is that, yeah, you can use it as a panic secondary, but you can also use the Glock 18 and the PP2000 as that, and they'll probably just do better. It is a 3 out of 5 because it shoots so fast, and it can have a 32 round mag, which the Glock 18 can have a 33. It still has double the reserve. So it's definitely a 3 out of 5 because it fires so fast, so you can use it still. Next up, though, we have the Micro Uzi. The Micro Uzi used to be just objectively the worst machine pistol in the game, but now it's actually really, really good because of a few things. First off, it did get a bump. It got a full stock and a bigger magazine and more reserve, and also because of OEG, because OEG is the only reason that this gun is even viable at all, in my opinion. Here's the thing, when you shoot it, like, you can't even tell where it's going, right? However, when you use OEG, you can tell where it's going. The bullets are actually just highlighted because you can go, oh, that dot is where they're going, which means you can actually correct for the annoying recoil, just like the M231. That makes it way better, as you can see. And because of full stock, meaning lower recoil, and you have a bigger default magazine with more reserve, this goes from a pretty trash machine pistol to just an objectively better in every way machine pistol to something like the Tech 9, in my opinion. It has more reserve, it has a bigger default magazine, it doesn't fire quite as fast, but it has 2 better shots to kill, which means that, yeah, it doesn't matter that it has a smaller magazine, you're gonna kill a guy more often. You can actually run this as a actual gun for closer ranges, way better than the Tech 9. It's not even a bad panic secondary either. I'm gonna be real, this is a 4 out of 5 gun. If you want a 3 hit kill with very fast RPM and a nice 25 round magazine, this gun is for you. Like, look at that. It has a lot of recoil, but my brain just corrects for it with OEG. My brain goes, hey, that's a dot. Let me just pull that down to like where the guy is. But next up, you have the Scorpion. Now, the Scorpion does have a long barrel, which is pretty trash now. It has some cool ammo types, and it does 3-hit kill up close with a 6-hit kill at range, and it has a pretty fast rate of fire. However, I'm gonna be real, because of the recoil nerf on this gun, it is still a 5 out of 5. I'm not gonna lie, it's still really up there. One of the best machine pistols in the game, but it's not really a primary secondary in the same way that something like the PP2000 is. It has bad velocity, worse hits to kill, worse range. Yeah, it's a pretty good gun. I'm not gonna lie, it's very, very good. Definitely really up there as one of the best machine pistols in the game. I should probably mention 9mm. 9mm is fine. It gives you a tiny bit more RPM and a bigger magazine. However, it's kind of worse because you can't 3-hit. So 50 more RPM is not a big deal if you can't 3-hit anymore. I kind of prefer the 3-hit kill because a 4-hit kill at 900 RPM is fine, I guess, but then the Glock is kind of just better at that point. But then you have the ASMI. Now, I've been talking about the ASMI since before it even got added to the test plays. That is how long I've been advocating for how broken this gun is. And yeah, it's not necessarily broken. It's not necessarily the best performing damage-wise for machine pistols in the game. However, it's just a primary, but worse. Yes, it doesn't have great hits to kill. It's a 4-hit, it's a 3-hit torso, and it does have almost a 2-hit kill head, but 600 RPM, but it has a 33 round magazine, 100 reserve ammo, and very low recoil. It also does actually more damage at range than the PP2000, and yes, the PP2000, if you're hitting the same number of shots in close range, but like I said, this is just a primary secondary. It even takes grips, which literally no other secondary in the entire game can do that. I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because it's not necessarily a better gun than the PP2000, but it performs better at longer ranges while having a bigger magazine, lower recoil, more reserve. So it's overall better than the PP2000 by quite a long shot at range, as you can see. It just feels like a primary. So yeah, I'm going to be giving this one a 5 out of 5. It's not necessarily the best. Other machine pistols will destroy it in close range, but no other machine pistol holds up quite as well. And yeah, for auto secondaries, this is probably the best well-performing all-range one. So yeah. As you can see, next up we have the MP1911. The MP1911 is surprisingly very, very good. It used to not be amazing, but then they buffed it. They basically increased the damage and gave it a faster reload. That's how kind of it was before. Now it's basically a small magazine, but 2-hit kill and 3-hit kill body, the 5-hit at range machine pistol with 1000 RPM. And honestly, it has pretty low recoil as well. Not the best recoil in the game, but I'm gonna be real, the recoil is not bad for the amount of damage it does because it does more damage than the PP2000 and fires faster, but not bad recoil. It doesn't have a lot of reserve ammo. The recoil isn't amazing or anything. Pretty good gun all around. 9mm is actually pretty cracked now that I think about it because extremely low recoil. Like, that's pretty low. 1,300 RPM and a 4-6 shot, but kind of beats the Tech 9 now. Not gonna lie, like, it's kind of just better than the Tech 9. Not necessarily better in every way. Doesn't have as big of a magazine. But yeah, this is going to be getting a 5 out of 5 because it doesn't do everything well. But what it does well. It does good damage and it fires fast. That's about all it really needs to do to be top tier. It might be better than the Micro Uzi depending on how you look at it. But finally, at rank 110, finally we have the arm pistol. Now the arm pistol is an extremely strange gun. I was actually thinking about maining this gun when it first came out in late 2020. It has a great 3-hit kill range of 55 studs, better than the PP2000, while having 200 extra RPM and can have a 30 round extended magazine with kind of bad reserve ammo, but not a ton of downsides other than that. Statistically, this is actually a better version of the M4A1 with a better 3-hit kill range, faster RPM, with the same magazine capacity. The problem that I found with it is that when it first came out, it had like literally double the recoil of that, and the recoil there is not good at all. It's very bad. Since it first came out, they have given it a much better recoil pattern, which means you can kind of use it at longer ranges, but I'm gonna be real, it's strange because it does have a big mag, it does reload fast for the magazine capacity, and it does do good damage, but it doesn't fire that fast. Like the MP1911 has 200 extra RPM and more damage. Yes, it has like more drop and stuff, but has less recoil and everything. I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because of the capacity and everything, but I don't know if it's necessarily an overall better gun than the MP1911. But yeah, because of the recoil buff, it went from basically the worst machine pistol to easily one of the best. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Make sure to comment your favorite machine pistol down below. Kind of crazy that I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5 because when it first came out, I hated it because I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then I saw the recoil and I was like, wow, that is bad. The recoil is way better though. So if you want basically primary, secondary, but you want a little bit better time to kill than the ASMI, it's really up there. Let's start it off with the MP412 Rex. Revolvers are really cool because there's only like 6, I think, and they all kind of do their own thing except for 2, which are kind of similar, those being the Rex and the Mateba. But overall, they're pretty unique, and I do like the class as a whole, although I would say there are some stinkers in the class, not gonna lie. Most of them have gotten some love, and of course, the first one that is way better than it used to be is the MP412 Rex. Not only has the cowboy barrel, also known as the long barrel, gotten a huge buff. Now it decreases muzzle flip by a ton. The Rex also has incredibly strong recoil and pretty fast RPM. It also got a way faster reload time, so as a whole, this gun is so cracked now. It doesn't shoot slow, it doesn't have bad damage, bad handling, anything like that. It just does everything really well. It even reloads quite a bit faster than it used to. I'm going to be giving this one a 5 out of 5 easily. I think it has about a 120 stud, one-shot kill head range. It does kind of dookie damage at range. It has a torso multi, so I think it can 3-hit kill torso at range. But I'm gonna be real, if you're not hitting headshots with this gun, it sucks at range. It's usually gonna be like a 4-shot, and yeah, with 6 shots, that's not that great. But up close, it'll be a 2-shot at 600 RPM, which means even if you're not that great, you can spam people down. And I'm gonna be real, if you want a fast firing but high damage gun with pretty low recoil, this is really good. It does have some downsides, of course. The 1911 does have a faster fire rate and is overall slightly more accurate, I guess. This is a 2-hit kill to the limbs instead of like a 1 torso, 1 limb combo, and it can 1-shot headshot to a pretty decent range, not gonna lie. In my opinion, this is the best overall revolver in the entire game. Like I said, there's not really any defining downside of this gun. It used to have just awful recoil, really bad muzzle flip that just made it impossible to use, but now it's definitely a 5 out of 5 gun. And if you're a low rank and you're great at spamming or hitting headshots, this is probably the best under rank, like even like 50 skill-based gun, because perhaps the AM3, XIX, Grizzly, and other hand cannons are better, but I'm gonna be real, it's just so good. Next up, we have the Mateba 6. Now, the Mateba 6 has a slightly worse headshot kill range than the Rex, however, same overall hits to kill and the same RPM and about the same reload speed. The problem with this gun is that it's just a worse version of the Rex because it does a tiny bit more damage at range, same damage up close, worse headshot damage, and it has just such a mad recoil, and it's just not good. Like, I don't know why you would ever use this revolver at all. This is like a rank 30, and the Rex is a rank 4, so there's no reason to ever use this gun. If you like this gun, go ahead and use it. It used to be better than the Rex because even though this has awful recoil, like just so annoying recoil, the Rex actually used to have way worse recoil than even this. And that was the only reason that this was better. There's really no objective reason to use this over the Rex, except for the fact that it does a little bit more limb damage at range. And the thing is, that doesn't even matter because it's not a 3-hit kill to the limbs. It's like a 30 instead of 28 damage. Just don't use this gun. It is not worth using. If you want to use it, go ahead. If you already are using it and you like it, go ahead, just use it. I don't care. It's not completely awful, but I will be giving this one the first ever 1 out of 5. And the reason for that is that the Rex just does everything this does but better. And before, it was better than the Rex, but the Rex has gotten such a massive buff, especially in terms of recoil, that this is just not worth using. There's no reason to ever use this gun unless they gave it a buff in the future. I would love to see it have maybe better recoil, maybe better headshot kill range than the Rex, but there's nothing here. Next up, we have the 1858 New Army. Now, the 1858 New Army snake shot is not that great anymore. With long barrel, this thing has not only a 3-hit kill to the limbs at any range, but a very good headshot kill range at about like 150 studs. Here's the thing, that's with long barrel, and the recoil of long barrel is really, really bad. It also has the slowest RPM, except for the executioner at this point, in the class at 140. So you can run no long barrel and spray people and spam them, but then the Rex is kind of just better at that point, and you can go for tap fire shots, but the RPM is just not that great. That was 150 studs, and that did 1-shot, so that's why this is extremely powerful still if you're using long barrel. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best revolver in the game. It is extremely powerful, but when you really think about it, because it doesn't have that broken shotgun conversion anymore, there's not a ton of reasons to use this since the AM3 exists, and yeah, this has fan fire, but if you're using long barrel, you can't even take advantage of the fan fire. And yeah, it's not bad. It has the headshot kill range, it has the fan fire. Those are two very interesting things. And with long barrel, it does have 1 stud of pen, not that it matters. So yeah, I will be giving this one actually a 4 out of 5. It's not a 5 out of 5 gun anymore, and if you fan fire it and you spam, it's pretty nice, but the Rex is just better. The Rex fires faster even with the fanfire. This does preserve damage well with the fanfire because, like, think about it. 3-hit kill all ranges, shoots pretty fast. Next up, though, we have the Red Hawk 44 or Red Hawk 45. So the Red Hawk actually does really good damage and actually reloads a lot faster than some of the other revolvers now at 2.5 seconds without speed loader and about 2 seconds with speed loader, which is pretty good. It does shoot a little bit slower than the other revolvers. It's not as spammy, and it also has a little bit more recoil, but they've kind of fixed that, especially with the cowboy barrel. barrel attachment. So yeah, a 3-hit kill at any range, 1-hit kill head in close range. I'm gonna be real, this is kind of just what the 1858 does, with a little bit less headshot kill range, however more substantial and overall high RPM. It doesn't shoot super fast, it's 400 RPM instead of 600, but versus 140, that is not bad at all. The reload speed is really good too. So if you want a very fast reloading revolver that does a little bit more damage but doesn't fire quite as fast, this is a very good option. If you're gonna spam with this, I recommend speedloader, because this gun reloads incredibly fast with speedloader and doesn't have a ton of downside because the tactical reload is already pretty fast as is. So even if you get the slower reload and not dumping all of your bullets, it's still going to reload pretty fast. There aren't really any defining downsides of this, except for the fact that it shoots a little bit slower than other revolvers and it doesn't have the best recoil in the game. But I'm gonna be real, this is also another 5 out of 5. A 1-hit kill is pretty far, comparable pretty much to the MP412 Rex. However, it can 3-hit kill limit range and packs a little bit of a better overall punch while reloading faster, so it has some pretty nice upsides and downsides over the Rex. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It used to be pretty trash with really annoying recoil, worse damage, worse range, worse velocity, and a pretty slow reload. But now it has this really nice niche that makes it one of the better revolvers in the game. But then last up, we have the two Taurus revolvers. The Judge is our first one. Now the Judge is pretty interesting because its default ammo has 4 pellets that do 50 damage in close range. So it can actually kill with 2 pellets and it fires pretty fast. It does single load shells, which is kind of annoying, and if you want to get rid of that, you can use speed loader. However, if you want to reload 1 shell, it's pretty quick. So I'm going to be real, this is a extremely solid shotgun revolver. 1858 with snake shot was always better ever since it was added. However, because 1858 snake shot is just not even good at all and not worth using, this is a very good replacement with a 2 pellet kill. Yeah, it kind of falls off pretty hard at range with a pretty slow overall reload, because first off, it takes about 8 seconds to reload all of its bullets, which is forever, and it only has 5 rounds. It actually has pretty good velocity and pen, but the fact that it drops down to 15 damage at 60 studs is very, very bad with 4 pellets. Actually, Slugs is now a 1-tap, which is kind of crazy. I didn't realize that. So Slugs can 1-shot to the body. Birdshot does 38 times 8, which is pretty good. Flechette does 40 times 4, which is not that great anymore. Birdshot is not bad. It has a lot of drop and a lot of bad velocity, but if you want extra pellets with still pretty high damage, but awful damage range, that's pretty good. You can also try Slugs, but I feel like Slugs will kind of suck. And the reason Slugs kind of suck is because Executioner kind of exists, and also the XIX. This does do 98 damage a limb, which means it can't 1-shot to the limbs, but it can almost, and it does have a little bit more RPM. The Grizzly is kind of just going to be better, but this is not a bad idea. I'm not going to lie. If you don't have the Executioner yet, you honestly could probably just pre-buy the Executioner instead of purchasing this ammo type, because they're pretty close to each other in ranks. This does fire pretty fast and does really good limb damage in close range. I'm not going to lie. This is actually a very good revolver now. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5, and that's kind of crazy because last time I was like, this is not that great, but now it just feels like it actually packs a lot more of a punch. Yeah, it's not that great for range or anything. You can also try Birdshot because 8 pellets. So if you want to be able to 1-tap to the limbs in close range, this is not a bad option. Recoil is kind of strange. I feel like Default and Slugs are the 2 very good ones. But if you're going to use the Slug ammo type, I just recommend you probably stick to the Executioner, because the Executioner is slower but just 1-taps more and is more consistent for range, because Slugs do have a little bit of bloom, a little bit of choke, which means they're not always going to land where you want them to. They probably will, but you can't really 100% rely on that. So yeah. And as you can see, it falls off very hard at range. 68 with 5 shots. Definitely not a gun recommended for range because it falls off so hard in terms of damage, but yeah, it's pretty good for close range. Our final revolver is the Executioner. Now, the Executioner does single load shells, which is kind of annoying. However, it does 1-shot to the torso to 55 studs. It has 120 RPM, now the slowest in the class, slower than the 1858 without fanfire, which is just kind of ridiculous. It literally has less than half the RPM it used to. However, it packs a serious punch, doing 80 damage a limb as well, down to about 35 at range, and it can almost 2-hit kill to the torso at range. It can't, however, and it shoots a lot slower than the XIX. However, it does also have a pretty decent headshot kill range, not quite as far as some of the other revolvers, which is kind of funny. It can 1-shot body, but it can't 1-shot head super far. As you can see, it wouldn't there, and it probably would with the 1858. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one easily a 5 out of 5. It is super, super powerful, but it's not the best overall revolver, especially anymore. Slowest walk speed of any secondary in the entire game, and some of the slowest fire rate. A 5 out of 5 definitely, because it doesn't really matter how bad this gun is in like every particular category when it 1-shots to the body, you know what I'm saying? If you're using the XIX and you're like, I'm not 1-shotting that often, maybe try out this one because it does 1-shot a little bit more often because of a substantially farther one-hit kill torso range, or maybe just pre-buy the extended barrel on the XIX. Overall, I'm going to say the XIX is better. I've always said that. Overall, Revolvers is the smallest category in the game right now, but I really do like it. Lots of really interesting guns. My favorite is definitely the Rex. I really like the Rex, which is funny because I used to hate the Rex, but then when I heard it was going to get a buff, I started using it, and even before the buff, I was having fun, but I was like, okay, this gun kind of sucks, not gonna lie. Also, I just outplayed it, but then it did get its buff, and I was like, not only do I like this, it's also an extremely good gun. Our first gun is, of course, the Super Shorty. Now, the Super Shorty, originally called the Serbu shotgun, is a pretty strange gun. It's gotten a lot of changes. Originally, it had a 4 pellet kill, and I think it did 28 damage. Now it does 24, which means it takes 5 pellets to kill. However, it reloads faster and fires a little bit faster. It has a default capacity of 2 and has a +1 to get 3 rounds, and I do definitely recommend that you get the extended tube to get up to 6. So literally double the capacity. I really recommend this, because if you don't have extended tube, you're gonna run out of bullets pretty fast. But I'm gonna be real, even though this doesn't do great damage for a shotgun, the spread is pretty consistent, so you will be one-tapping pretty often in close range. However, it does awful damage at range, and the spread is overall not great. So basically what you're gonna get is a very consistent one-tap in close range to basically anywhere on the body if you're pretty good, and really awful range performance, which is really cool because it's a pocket shotgun. You want a close range one-tap, but you don't want an all-range one-tap, you know? So it feels overall really good, and I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. It's not top tier. It's not the best secondary in the entire game, but for a shotgun and for a pocket shotgun, this is one of the best ones. I'd still say for overall secondary use, of course, you know, I fired 3 shots there. If I was using the XIX and hit 2 torsos, would have killed from that range. So clearly this isn't the best all ranges gun, but for what it does, which is just close range one tap, it does it extremely well. It feels very balanced, very consistent, and just like, yeah, it does what it should, and it doesn't do what it shouldn't. But next up, we have the SFG50, a sawed-off version of the BFG50. It does the same close range damage at 100, meaning it can one-shot to the limbs to 50 studs. It can also one-shot to the torso to only 210 studs, which is very, very far. However, the BFG torso kill range is infinite. So that was 144, which is within torso kill range, but it won't be all ranges. It also has quite a bit more draw than the BFG at 2000 velocity instead of 3000, which is quite a big difference. And it has choke, which means it won't always shoot in the same spot, but the choke is not awful. The main thing here is probably just the bullet drop being lower than a lot of other sniper rifles in the game. So if you can't account for drop, it might be kind of annoying. Plus, at extreme ranges, you're not going to one-shot torso, so a headshot is necessary to get a one-tap. So I'm not going to say this is the best gun in the entire game or anything, but I would say for what it does, it is a very nice pocket secondary. It only has 1 bullet though, and I usually use it for close range, and at that point, the GB50 is kind of better when you think about it, because GB50 has more drop, but does one-shot headshot at any range. One-shot headshot. It has a pretty decent torso kill range of like 80 studs, and this has 210, but still, if you're hitting your heads and stuff, the GB50 is just better. This is pretty nice. It has some upsides, but I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. If you're pretty good at just hitting your torso shots and you want a pocket sniper rifle because your main gun is, I don't know, like an MP5K, this is not a bad option. As you can see, it's not gonna one-tap at any range, and it's probably not gonna hit too many shots at any range, so I don't really recommend it 100%. So it doesn't do everything a secondary should do, and it's probably one of the worst secondaries for the secondary pull it out in the middle of a fight roll, and I will be giving it a 3 out of 5. I really like the gun. I have like 1,000 kills on it because I love quick scoping with it. It's really fun to pull out in close range because you can one tap to the limbs. Pretty nice overall gun, feels pretty balanced. I don't think it's really broken at all, and honestly, I probably would say it's better than the BFG because, you know, it's a secondary. Whoa, that was some bloom, dude. What was that bloom? The BFG because it was right on his head. The choke just made me miss. That's a problem with it. Not a huge problem. I'm not used to doing that. I'm pretty sure I was looking directly at his head. It's a pretty nice option. Just remember that you will never be able to use your secondary unless you're hitting one close range shot, which is not really going to happen too often. So yeah, 3 out of 5, pretty good. Next up, we have the M79 Thumper, which has so many ammo types, most of which aren't really that great. Exotic Slugs is pretty cool. It can one tap to the limbs and has 2 pellets, which is pretty cool, and a faster reload time than the SFG. It also has Sponge, which can one tap limb to 100 studs, twice the range of the limb kill range of the SFG. However, it has awful drop and does lose its torso kill range after 100 studs as well. You probably shouldn't use any ammo types except maybe Exotic Slugs on this gun, and the other ammo types like buckshot and stuff are just kind of trash. This can kill with 3 pellets and has 10, which is pretty cool. It has extra pellets and really good pellet damage. Keep in mind the Super Shorty has 8 pellets and requires 5, half of its pellets, and this requires about 30%, which is pretty nice. It also has a bit better spread, but of course it only has 1 bullet. So I'm gonna be real, this is is a pretty trash gun. It's really fun to use, but I don't really recommend it over something like, for example, the GB50. Exotic Slugs is like cool and all, but because of spread and everything, the GB50 is kind of just better. It's another one-tap gun that's just, it's fine. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It is pretty fun to use for close range, and with short barrel and remove stock, it not only reloads really fast, but does have very good walk speed, but the spread is quite a bit worse. As you can see, I hit for 50 there, which is pretty nice. Although I would say the SFG kind of does it better for me, because the SFG, I can use that in close range. This does reload faster and everything, but the SFG would have one tap there, so I don't know really about what you want, so I will be giving it a 3 out of 5 tied with the SFG. The Serbu is definitely a better gun because this is literally reload after every single shot versus the Serbu, which has up to 6 rounds, but can also one tap in close range. Next up though, we have the coil gun. The E-gun, I think I gave it 2 out of 5, maybe a 3, but I think it was a 2. The reason I gave that one a 2 is because of this gun's existence. This is not only, in my opinion, better because some of the ammo types allow it to one burst to the head. It also reloads faster than the E-gun. The only problem is the reserve ammo, but I'm gonna be completely real. Why would you ever use the E-gun over the coil gun? And the reason I'm saying that is because the E-gun is okay in some ways, but this does more damage and is also a secondary. That's the biggest thing. Like, E-gun could be better in most ways, but this is a secondary weapon, so it doesn't really matter because this does fit a secondary role. You can pull it out in a fight, maybe finish a person off, and actually do pretty decent against most players versus the E-gun, which is just worse. Like, the E-gun is just bad. It's not the best secondary in the game, but I feel like it holds its own, and with 25 rounds, you can actually, you know, kill some people. So I will be giving this one a 4 out of 5, which is kind of crazy considering I gave the E-gun a 2 out of 5, but this actually kind of eviscerates in close range, and the fact that it's a secondary and reloads faster is just better. Why would you ever use the E-gun? But next up, we have the sawed-off shotgun. Sawed-off shotgun is pretty nice because it not only has 2 bullets, it also does really good damage, has a burst, which is pretty cool to fire both, and it has a pretty decent reload time. Here's the thing about it. The spread is still awful, and the min damage is really bad, and to really get a pretty effective one-tap because of the spread, you kind of got to fire both shots at once. You can use it not on burst, but I just don't really recommend it. I use the Stevens and this on burst because it just feels like something you should use on burst, to be honest, and the one-tap range is just not great on semi-auto anyway. The Thumper kind of has it better in that regard, and there's also the fact that on burst, it still only has 1 bullet, so what's the point of using this? There is the fact that you have more damage and more pellets than other shotguns, but it just doesn't feel that effective for one-taps. I'd say it's the worst other gun in the game, and it does have some redeeming stuff, so I'm not going to give it a 1 out of 5, but I will be giving this one a 2 out of 5. They have tried to rework this many times to make it better, and I think they have succeeded. It does feel a little bit better for close range because it does more damage now, and it has a faster reload time, which does really help as well, but it's still not good. I'm not gonna lie, it's just not that great. I don't really recommend you use this. If you like it, use it, but it's a 2 out of 5. But next up, we have the Saiga 12U. Now, the Saiga 12U is kind of just like, you like the Serbu shotgun, now make it semi-automatic. It does more damage than the Serbu, and it still has a default capacity of 2 to 3, and an extended magazine for 5 with a +1, so 6. It doesn't have, I think, as good spread as the Serbu, and it might require follow-up shots, but it has 350 RPM, so that's not really a problem. I'm gonna be real, if you want a other shotgun gun for overall close range use, the Serbu is just worse. This is just a better version of the Serbu. There are reasons to use the Serbu. It can single load shells for a little bit of a faster reload time, and it does have a slightly better spread, but requires more pellets, so it doesn't really matter. This just hits follow-up shots really easily, and I'm gonna be real, it is simply a better gun. Here's the thing, it's not for long range, it's for really close range like this, and when it's in very close range, it is the best secondary shotgun in the entire game. The reason for that is because 1858 Snake Shot kind of sucks now, and Serbu shotgun is pretty good, but this is just better. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. If you want a secondary shotgun, make sure to slap on the extended magazine, and also this does have a ton of ammo types that make it pretty cool. It has 50 BMG, which is awful. Don't use it. It only has 1 bullet because the gun literally explodes when you shoot it. It has Lancaster ammo, which has an awful headshot kill range and shoots really slow. Don't use this at all. It has a battle rifle conversion, a full auto conversion, slugs, 7.62, rubber pellets, 9mm birdshot, 223 Remington. It has a ton. These ammo types are basically miniature assault rifle conversions, and they're pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. If you want a weird machine pistol with very primary stats, very tiny magazine, of course, but if you want basically a primary secondary, this gun has some pretty decent options. I'm not gonna lie. Next up though, we have the Obras, which, wow, that was some good drop control. As you can see, basically a sawed-off version of the Mosin. It does okay body damage. It's a 2-hit kill torso at range, 3-hit kill limb at range, and 2-hit kill limb up close. So it's gonna be like a 2 to a 3 shot to the body, to be honest. However, it is actually able to one-hit kill to the head at any range, and also has more RPM than Mosin Nagant, and I don't know why I keep spawning here, because clearly there's enemies. Thank you, game, for spawning me where there aren't enemies everywhere. It does have pretty serious drop, but if you can control that and you got long barrel on, it's not bad at all. It also doesn't have choke, which means it won't have random spread. Yes, it has a lot more drop than the SFG, but if you count for the drop, it will always land in the same spot, which is pretty cool. And it fires a lot faster. Overall, this is just a better version, if you're good, of the SFG. If you can't hit follow-up shots or actually account for drop and get headshots at range, I don't recommend this gun at all. However, if you can, it's a very, very good gun, so I will be giving this one a 5 out of 5. It's really bad for Metro, but of the secondaries, of course, it's going to be the best sniper rifle secondary. Nothing else really rivals it, except maybe the GB50 is really good for sniping as well. This does have a shotgun conversion, which is very, very bad, as well as 8mm, which does give it a slight torso kill range, but really, really bad damage at range and awful drop, so I don't really recommend it. It also has an extended mag for 10 bullets, but I don't really use it because really bad handling. But finally, we have the SAS 358. Now, the SAS is really bad. Also, we got tag run on this map, which is really not a good idea, because you know what that means. There's gonna be sweats in here. Basically, this is a gun that can't one-shot to the torso. It only has one bullet and it reloads really, really slow. It does one-shot headshot at all ranges and does pretty good body damage for long range, but like I said, it can't one-shot to the torso. Then you're like, well, it has that conversion that gives it a torso kill. Well, here's the thing. It just is a slower version of the GB50 that can't headshot kill all ranges with that conversion. So what's the point of this? Nothing. It's just bad. Don't use it. It does one-shot kill head all ranges, which is not too bad, but like there's nothing here that's actually special about it at all. It doesn't do anything that the GB50 doesn't do, but better. I think the GB50 even has a better torso kill range and a headshot kill all ranges. So yeah, there's really no reason to use this. If you hit your headshots, it's not awful, but I'm going to give this one easily a 1 out of 5. In my opinion, this is the most annoying and just not good in any way gun in the entire game. Don't use it. It's just bad, but it is kind of funny as a meme, so if you want to, use it, but I just don't recommend it if you want to do good, you know what I'm saying? They might have fixed the spawns, to be honest, because I don't see anybody spawn trapping over here. Okay, there's a guy there. Wait, did they actually fix the spawns? Oh, frick. No, they didn't. No, they didn't fix the spawns. We'll just end this with a montage of me killing a ton of people. Anyways, gamers, if you guys did enjoy, that ends our ranking series. New series coming very, very soon that you'll probably also enjoy. So make sure to like the video, and if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and whatever, turn on notifications, because my Discord bot does not always ping immediately. So if you want to get early on and comment first on the video or whatever you guys do, then make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Ooh. Peace.